All right, folks, welcome in. We are back. That's right, both of us. It's been 4 episodes, but we are finally back. Gary Sheffield Jr. and myself, Jake Ellenbogen, coming at you live, Yankees Unloaded style. Unfortunately, we're not coming at you live after they just won. They indeed lost the series to the Cubs, 4-1. It started off like, okay, 11-0 game. You're feeling really good, high and mighty, won 6 straight or whatever. And then the wheels fell off. And I think a lot of it was Max Fried, that blister, which could be an issue. So we'll monitor that. He pulled himself out of the All-Star game, was actually in line to potentially start it, gave the reins over to Tarek Skubal. I don't think anybody's going to complain about that. And now Carlos Rodon is actually going to be All-Star game eligible. So that's kind of cool. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Anthony Volpe. That's, I think, our biggest topic. And we gave Anthony Volpe a long leash after, we dug into him pretty hard. We stayed away from making him the title. We stayed away from making it the mission to talk about him. But the reality is, Gary, it gets to a point where you go on social media and the old defenders of Anthony Volpe are not around anymore. Everybody is having a uniform opinion. And I think really that uniform opinion goes back to, you are not going to win a World Series with Aaron Judge having this guy at shortstop. He is a net negative. He is a bad defensive player right now. He is a bad bat, and he's a bad base runner, aside from the one, he had a really nice slide. I don't enjoy watching Anthony Volpe play any more than I enjoy him, in his post-game interviews, and I don't enjoy those at all. So it's not good right now. The title is, of course, is Anthony Volpe the biggest bust in Brian Cashman's history? And we're going to get into that. We're also going to be talking about the fact they added 2 shortstops via the draft. They actually drafted one right before we went live. It ended up being Jeff Kent's son, so we'll get into that a little bit. George Lombard Jr. was named the most impressive at the Prospect Showcase, according to Baseball America.
That's cool to see.
So that's a good sign. Spencer Jones is on a heater, 7 home runs. I feel like Gary texts me every day. Oh, yeah, Spencer Jones just hit another home run. He's hit 7 homers in 14 games. But the Yankees did add shortstop Dax Kilby with their first pick in the draft. And we did get some info that the Diamondbacks want Spencer Jones and Cam Schlittler in any trade that would involve Suarez and Gallen. There's some stuff out there. There's a suggestion from John Heyman that, Suarez and Gallen for Cam Schlittler, Cade Smith, and Brock Selvage. So there's some other trades that they could do. It's a loaded episode. We'll go Yankees Unloaded style, but Gary, let's start off. A lot of stuff there, but let's start off with the first thing. The Yankees lost this game, and Anthony Volpe once again did not look very good in this loss. It ends his, second half of the year, and it wasn't good. I got the numbers right here for you. This is a guy that is hitting .214. He's had the second most at-bats on the team. He has 10 homers, 49 RBIs. He has a .671 OPS. It's been pretty bad. He is on track to have 123 hits this year. But aside from that, there's really not a lot that I like. 154 strikeouts he's on pace for. He's
also left more guys
times
on base than any other player in Major League Baseball, in both leagues. So for those of you who are going to say, well, the RBIs, well, what about the guys that didn't score? Do you know how many guys were left on base for you to lead the league when you actually hit the bottom of the lineup? So it's not like he's hitting 4th or 5th every day. He's not. He's been slid to 7th through 9th for how long now, right? And I think a lot of us were complaining that he was at 6th. It provided him a lot of opportunity. This is not about opportunity or a lack thereof for Volpe. This is not about a leash. He's played, right? We gave him confidence. We're going to play you all year, 2023. You're going to show back up. It's going to be the same thing. We're going to work on what you're not good at, head into 2024, and continue to build, right? Put some building blocks out there. And then we walk into 2025. He had a pretty decent postseason, right? He had the Grand Slam in the World Series. A lot of us were happy about that. And Jake, you've sort of talked about the defense, right? And you've talked more specifically about the arm, right? And this is a shortstop. This is a player who should, in theory, have one of the stronger arms in the field. Like, you When you think shortstops in the game, you think, all right, shortstop arm, Rafael Furcal, right? Derek Jeter, very strong arm to make jump throws. You need to be able to do these things. Relays, you want to be the guy that we choose on a relay throw. Is Anthony Volpe the guy that you want to be catching the baseball in the postseason to throw a guy out at the plate? Absolutely not. No, I'll speak for everybody. No, he's not. We'd rather Jazz catch the ball. That's not a good thing. It's not. And obviously you saw today with the play in the 8th inning off the bat of Dansby Swanson, a player who I actually said if this works out, Anthony Volpe can turn into Dansby Swanson, and that would be a win. And that's how bad this has gotten. Dansby Swanson's a good player. I think he's a good player. That's the build that you're looking at. And they actually said, from Boone's perspective, this was a quote from Boone. He says he does that in talking about the hop, because Jake, he plays the ball back a lot. Okay, he doesn't play very aggressive in the infield. He likes to be patient. He wants to wait on the long hop, make it a sure thing, which, by the way, is not a problem, provided the context that you have a absolute cannon of an arm to make up for it. Because I feel like it's obvious, if you're going to wait back on the hop, it takes the ball more time to get to you. So you need to accommodate for that with an arm. Boone says he does that from time to time, where you're trying to create the best possible hop. Sounds good, right? Volpe postgame, they asked him, do you think you should have been more aggressive attacking that ball off the bat of Swanson? And he said, yeah. Everything is in front of us. We do these things. We keep working. We can do everything we want to do. That sounds like a parent just talking to their kids, right? And just saying, you can do it if you just put your mind to it. It's not what we want to hear. You need to go out there. And if you're going to show up in the post game and say, yeah, I need to be plenty more aggressive, that can't happen. Then when I turn on the game and I turn on Yes Network, the very next thing, the evidence that are going to be presented to me should be an aggressive baseball player. Anthony Volpe is a timid player in all levels of this sport. Defensively, right? Charging the baseball. He's timid. He just wants to wait back and get the easy candy hop. He doesn't have the arm to make up for it. He's a bad base runner. I know they keep telling me he's good at it. He is not. He showed up his rookie season. He's hopping off the bases. And by the way, I want to make sure that this is clear. Anthony Volpe is not the reason the Yankees lost today. He's not. The Yankees had 2 hits, right? I think it was, who was it? Our catcher, right? It was Austin Wells was 1 for 3, right? No extra bases. We didn't get in scoring position all day. Giancarlo Stanton hit a home run. That's all we did. So this is not the reason we lost. But if you want to be a World Series team and you're going to look up and Anthony Volpe is your shortstop, you don't need great over there in order to win a title. Great, I would say it's changed over the years. It's no longer greatness is 325 with 40 jacks. Like, those numbers have somewhat regressed with the pitching taking a step forward. I think, Jake, you said we'd take 250 with some pop and great defense. We would take that, right?
I was off his back when they did that.
Your dad has suggested the same thing. And yet we look up at this player and say, and we ask the question, is this the biggest bust in Yankees history? It's not so much, is he the worst player that we've brought through our system? It's not necessarily that. What it really is based on the expectations, based on the role that this player has, based on the playing time, the leash, all of these things, the expectations to win in Aaron Judge's prime. What is this player? This is a huge disappointment. It is. And people make it out to be a personal thing, or why are you so hard on this person or that person? Why should it bother anybody? If we critique what is actually going down on the field, that's what we're doing. And this has now happened. This is year 3. We are in the thick of year 3 of Anthony Volpe, headed towards arbitration. You can't justify a future of this. If you're Brian Cashman, if you're Aaron Boone, even if Brian puts him on this roster as an arbitration asset, you're going to go play this player anywhere other than, second base if you don't have one? This is nonsensical to me. And yeah, it's a huge bust. It's a bummer. And I just don't know what's going to happen for it to change. That's where I'm trying to advance this, Jake, is that, do we see a future here? Can this be fixed? Or is this a player that we're just wetting the sheets, really?
Yeah, I have to say something here, because I see a lot of Derek Jeter comparison. Like, oh, well, Derek Jeter took him a little bit. No, it didn't. It didn't at all.
No, it didn't. No.
So I actually have his numbers here because I don't like just saying stuff, and I like backing it up. Derek Jeter, by the time he was 24, was an all-star. Now, as you know, I don't care about the all-star moniker. Congrats, you had a good first half of the year.
Yeah, what were his numbers?
We're talking about a guy that hit 324 that year, right? He was 24 years old. He hit 324. He had an 864 OPS. We have yet to see Volpe get above 250 and stay there. So, yeah, no. Yeah, let's put it this way. When Volpe was 22, his rookie year, Derek Jeter had an 800 OPS, hit 314. Then when he was 23, he hit 291 and he had a 775 OPS. You know, I always heard Derek Jeter was overrated. Always heard it, right? From people. I actually think it's got to the point where he is underrated. He is underrated. When you look, like, I'm not a big WAR fan, but people talk, they'll throw WAR in your face. Like, Volpe has a 2 WAR. They'll be like, it's a 2 WAR. Derek Jeter had a 3.3 his rookie year, his actual rookie year. He had a 5 the next year and a 7.5 after that, and then an 8. So I'm sorry. Volpe was never going to be Derek Jeter. They're just completely different players. But we have to stop like, well, it took Derek Jeter. No, that's not even remotely true. So
it's just not the truth. It's a lie.
Yeah. I wanted to get that out there. I'm not throwing shade at anybody in the comment section specifically. I see it around social media, and I just think really what I don't like about that analysis, I'm not saying whoever's saying in the comment section is saying it like this, but Gary, we've talked about this before. People will put things on social media knowing that there's a certain group of people who will just, they'll just take it at face value, right? That's exactly what it is. They won't do the research and look it up. We here at Yankees Unloaded will always look things up because we're not afraid. We've
also got the
in
time.
Front of us. We're
running a podcast.
We're hanging out, right? Because it is a hangout. But yeah, we're gonna make sure we get things right before we start hooting and hollering about stuff. So yeah. Oh, by the way, he was 3rd in MVP voting when he was Volpe's age. So yeah, not
and mind you, because I've heard this a lot. Well, you didn't need, as Michael K likes to put it, would you expect Bobby Witt Jr.? Nope. Can someone go find me anything, right, where I said he needs to be? We said no to Seager, right? We said we're not going to be aggressive on Lindor. We're not going to bring in any of those players via trade that any of you could possibly come up with in our past that we could have went up with in the middle of the defense. Well, what would have been good enough for Anthony Volpe? Where you said, yeah, this is good enough, right? We've got years of control. We can control him essentially for 5 years, and we need a win at some point in that window, and then we'll pay him. We're the Yankees, no big deal. But you're not going to be paying him probably $400 million, and if we do, that's a good problem to have. Actually, a good problem. But who in their right mind thought Anthony Volpe had to be a top 3 shortstop in the game for us to think that this is good, that this is worth marrying long-term, per se? No, Anthony Volpe, if people want to talk about, well, Derek Jeter took time, A, no, he didn't, and B, I would consider the Yankees, I think this is fair to say, we haven't won a World Series in 15, 16 seasons. We're what I would like to call a win-now organization. Wouldn't that be fair to say?
Yeah.
To say that the Yankees don't have time to wait around on a player, and this is now, I feel confident saying this. Anthony Volpe will not figure it out by the end of this season. We'll just leave it there. He'll just be below average. Periodically, he'll do something. He's still got a decent glove over there. He's got decent hands. He'll do something. He's not going to do nothing the rest of the year. He's not chop liver, but he's not good. He's going to do something. We're going to finish out this year, go into arbitration, probably pay him like $2.5–3 million, right? You're going to do these things. And then what? You're going to go into 2026, and how long are you going to get this type of production from shortstop, the most important position in the field? And then we're the bad guy for picking on this player? Our audience, these are the bad guys for giving up? How long do we have to stay on this ride before we're allowed to hop off, Jake? And that's where I'm at. He hops in the media. He never knows what to say. And the reason it sounds so bad, by the way, in his defense, is because he actually doesn't take what he's saying in the media room. He doesn't take that out into the field. He'll tell you, yeah, I need to be more aggressive. And you'll wake up after the break and you'll watch a player not aggressive again. You'll watch him make the same mistakes that he'll talk about, like some politician in the media. 24-year-olds, as you mentioned, Jake, before we went live, they shouldn't be PR trained like this. They shouldn't be hopping out saying it's right in front of us. It's scary. It's honestly scary to listen what's coming out of his mouth. And I know he probably thinks, well, I just said the right thing and got out of there. I'm not playing well. But man, is it difficult, Jake, to watch a player play the exact same way, and then we're the bad guys as podcasters who watch this team every single day.
Speaking of which, yeah, so we have 359 people in here. Appreciate you guys watching. So apparently Dave Mack doesn't think any of you know ball, and you're wasting your time listening to Gary talk about this. So, I mean, hey, you do you, man. If you knew ball, you'd be in the majors like your pops. That has nothing to do with it.
Wait, is Dave in the is he in the bigs?
I don't know. Maybe it's Dave Kingman. I don't know.
Oh, it definitely could be Dave Kingman. It definitely could be him.
Wait,
I mean, we'll just have to wait to see.
I was making a joke.
No, of course, no. Of course, I'm making a joke. No, Dave doesn't play baseball, so
I know.
Yeah, but if people are waiting around for former athletes to just start and run podcasts to be able to have a voice, then by all means, there are plenty of former athletes running podcasts. Go do that. So yeah, appreciate you coming in though.
Yeah, appreciate it. Anyway, so yeah, I totally agree with you, Gary. I wrote these down in our notes here. Volpe 245, 765 OPS. That was back in April, right? We would take that all day to the bank. That's your 7 or 8 hitter. This is what I was talking about. I didn't flip flop. I made it very clear. I am okay with that player. I'm okay. I'm not happy about it. I'm not sitting there going crazy. He was the 5th overall prospect according to MLB Pipeline. I'm not sitting here like, awesome. The 5th overall prospect is hitting 245.
We're not looking for your replacement if you're hitting 260 with 16 homers. Nothing great.
No.
We're talking about league average. Anthony Volpe's not. He's not that.
No, and then May, he goes down to 242, which, like, fine. Like, I don't care, right? But then his on-base goes from 333 to 308. So his OPS is now 703. Then in June, he goes to 205, and he has a 665 OPS, and his on-base is now 290. That's where we have a problem. When your on-base isn't above 300, we have an issue. Then in July, okay, and mind you, 45 at-bats. So this is a fair sample size. Anthony Volpe, okay, has 6 hits. He is hitting 133 with a 133 on base and a 356 OPS. That is DJ LeMahieu playing with 5 injuries bad. And DJ LeMahieu was let go. And he was hitting 266 and actually had a 340 on base. To me, and it goes back, we actually didn't get a chance to really talk about this, I don't think, because it happened and then I did the 2 and then you did the... But I'll say this. It's not even about getting rid of DJ LeMahieu and what he did for New York and all that. That's not what I get into. I think it's set a really bad precedent. You're going to totally absolve this guy of all blame, Anthony Volpe, but then you're going to DFA DJ LeMahieu who's actually hitting. I think the bar is so low. Like, think about this for a second, right? Volpe is hitting 214. His OPS is 671, and he's not playing good in the field at all. Because his bar is set so low, you can't tell me there's no reason why the Yankees can't call up Spencer Jones. There's no reason why Rock Reggio can't get a shot, or Rafael Flores, or Everson Pereira, or quite honestly, anybody in AAA and even AA that's hitting well. Because here's the thing. Goes back to what I was saying last year about Verdugo. When you set the bar that low, you don't have an excuse. You don't have an excuse for any of these guys. That's the reality of the situation right now. Anthony Volpe is a bad baseball player, full disclosure. And I'm at the point here where I'm just over him. I'm just kind of ready for this to end. I'm where I was when as soon as I realized Joey Gallo was exactly what I expected him to be, I wanted him gone. I didn't want him in the lineup. I actually celebrated when he was on the bench. I couldn't stand him. When he struck out, I didn't care. I just didn't want him anymore.
Who's responsible, by the way, for this decision? because you were saying that like you're done with this, right? Like
I'm
feel
done.
like we've exercised this. We've given him enough playing time. It's not like he doesn't have 15 plus 100 at bats.
He needs to hit like 270 to get back to right? Like he needs to hit decently to get back up to where he was at the beginning of the year.
Right. So Aaron Boone is your manager. Okay. I'm just laying it out.
Yeah.
Aaron Boone's your manager. Brian Cashman's your general manager. Hal Steinbrenner's your owner. Who's responsible for this? Because you have to imagine if you could snap your fingers and he was just gone, and you've got a Don Mattingly or whoever else, Joe Torre wants to be your manager, do you think other players are at shortstop right now? Because you look at the roster, right? You look at who's playing, and who's on the bench. Is there another player? And I know you've said that you would try to experiment with Jazz out there at short or wherever else. I said physically, Jazz said he can't handle the throw from third base. He's just not able to deal with the physicality of third base. That's exactly what happened. So do I want to try it at short? No. I think I'm that limited. In terms of this roster, I think this is Brian Cashman. To be honest with you, I know people keep talking about, well, why is Volpe playing every single day? Why don't they ever give him a day off, right? It just seems like almost this coach's son mentality where he can do no wrong. He can hit 200 for his career, and we just talk about what could go well. But we need to hang on here for a second because I feel like this isn't necessarily Boone's project. This seems a lot to me. If you listen to what Brian Cashman, what was coming out of his mouth 2 off seasons ago, he seemed pretty cocky about the future of Anthony Volpe.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't hear him quite as much anymore. Yeah, I don't see him quite as loud anymore. I don't see him actually ever. So I'm curious to know what Brian Cashman thinks, and we're going to find out this offseason when it's time, because we're going to go into arbitration, and the Yankees are going to say, well, hold on a second, your WAR is this, your defensive run save is that. That's what Volpe's going to hang on to. My defensive run save is this. The Yankees are going to say, you're almost leading the league in errors. You've been thrown out stealing almost as much as you've stolen successfully. You weren't good defensively in terms of analytics, range, your arm, all below average. You can justify a position change, right? So
this guy's obsessed with your frame right now. I don't understand. I didn't know you needed to be like ultra athletic to be a podcaster. He doesn't like your body composition, Gary. There's no way this is real. I can't even believe what I'm reading.
His son is skinny, not an athlete. You should probably look up my dad when he was like 20. Skinny. What are you talking about, bro?
I'm sorry. This is hilarious. Anyway.
I should become a bodybuilder. I should definitely become a bodybuilder to run a podcast. But yeah, anyways, whoever our mods, get this jabroni out of here. He's a clown. So anyhow, yeah. Back to what we were saying. So Cito Culver, biggest bust, never even made Major League Baseball. Yeah, see, Jake, I told you. There are going to be some lists. There are going to be some players that just didn't work out. Like Jesus Montero was one of those players. That's the name that comes to mind for me. Jesus Montero was a dude that...
All right, I'm going to do it.
Who is your name, by the way?
1 second. I just want to get rid of this guy.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll get to the last super chat. Thank you, John, for the 2, by the way.
That is not at all productive in conversation. We like dialogue. So this is what I'm going to say about this. Going back to this. Thank you, John, for the super chat. This is a good one. I would push back on this, and here's why. Cito Culver was drafted 32nd overall. Volpe was drafted 30th overall. I understand the rationale. I get this. But this is not, keep in mind, this is not the NFL draft and the NBA draft. It's not even close. So in the first round, it means nothing. I'm all about where were you on the prospect list? Volpe was 5th overall. I've never seen a Yankee rated that high. I'm pretty sure that's the highest a Yankee's ever been rated. And he's this. Cito Culver, they didn't expect him to ever be that. They drafted him in the first round. They took a flyer on him. They clearly liked him. And he just couldn't get out of the minor leagues. It's not like, to me, if you drafted a guy 30th overall in the NFL, right? And he just never could get on the field, that's a bust. But if you drafted a guy in the NFL draft, which to me, the equivalent, right, is like drafting, and I really want to get this through people's heads. This is how I view it. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying this is how I see it. The first round in the MLB draft should be considered like a fourth rounder in the NFL. Truthfully. Because a fourth round pick in the NFL can contribute day one, but it's very rare that they do. And more often than not, they're going to take some time to develop. And if by the end of the rookie deal, because they have 4 years, by the end of their rookie deal, if they are not on the field, that's a bust pick. But, however, here's the deal. It's a fourth rounder. It's not a first rounder. A first rounder in the NFL needs to be a starter almost instantly, unless you have a plan for him to be a franchise quarterback and he's going to sit.
Yeah,
so that is
you can
my
go.
thing.
You can go at the bottom of the first round, and it's already.
Yeah,
I understand.
Lamar
it's
Jackson was
huge.
drafted the same pick number as Cedal Culver, right? But
Right.
Lamar
Different
Jackson
expectations.
is astronomically a better prospect in his realm than Culver was.
It wasn't
in his.
crazy for a Lamar Jackson to pan out, as opposed to in baseball. You can have, honestly, guys, the 11 pick in the draft, the number 4 pick in the Major League Baseball draft can be a terrible, terrible baseball player. Can give you no production. That's how hard this game is. Just very difficult to play, unfortunately. So we've seen great players. You've seen players like Albert Pujols, right? And they're not being selected where you'd expect them.
This is why Skeens is so valuable. Because Skeens is like drafting somebody in the top 10 in the NFL. That's
because you just knew it's going to work. I mean, you had special stuff. And by the way, Nate, I see you in the chat. Says, Red Sox fan here. You guys make good content. Salute. We really appreciate that, Nate. Thank you. Welcome in. Says, honest question. Who's the Yankees' biggest threat for the division? Jake and I have been pretty consistent on this. It is the Boston Red Sox. And we said this at the very beginning of the season. We said it towards the middle. We were surprised to see how they were playing. And you look up, and what are we going to... It's not our fault that they weren't playing good baseball, but they get rid of Devers. They told us they were going to be a better team without him. Now they've won 10 games in a row. So you can argue with your mother, right? And I'm not talking to you, Nate, but people would say, oh, the Red Sox aren't for real. They're not this, they're not that. They're winning games. And I don't care who they play. You beat who's in front of you. Boston deserves credit, and they're right on our heels. So, and I've told people, don't look in the rearview mirror. Pay attention to yourself. You're not playing good baseball, and if you can't win this division, that's on you. So I think the Red Sox probably feel the same way. As why would we focus on the Yankees? They're not playing great baseball either. If we take care of business, we'll run them down.
No, I definitely agree with that. The Red Sox have won 10 straight now. They are going to be a problem. So
are you worried?
Am I worried? No, because I feel like the Yankees' best is going to come after the All-Star break. I'm sure Volpe will probably hit like 230, which will be a huge upgrade over hitting fucking 6 times and 45 at bats. But
I'll be honest with you, I am worried. I think the Boston Red Sox actually overtake us if we have a bad deadline. I'm actually going to commit to that. When we got Jazz last year,
do you want to go into the deadline now? By the way,
yeah, we definitely can. Just after this,
okay, yeah.
When we got Jazz, I was like, oh, I love this. I love the fit. He's not going to be Miami Marlins Jazz, I promise you. And he wasn't. And then you said, I think he can be a star. I wasn't ready to bite off that much of the apple, but I said I loved it. Didn't love what they did with Leiter Jr. and De Los Santos. Was that? I'm trying to give him his real name.
No, he's De Los Meatballs.
Okay, De Los Meatballs. I didn't like that. Okay, objectively speaking, I was clear about that. Said our deadline was okay. Right? That's how I described it. We did one thing great, and then the rest was just to be desired. Well, I feel if we go through this deadline and we don't make multiple pickups where we solve third base, that's a problem. Third base is an issue. Our bullpen depth is a problem. Like, some of it's health related. Some other parts is just personnel. We also need probably at least one arm in the starting rotation. If Cam Schlittler's going to work out and he's going to stay up in the big leagues, then you probably need one guy. But if he's not and you don't think he's going to be here, I know the Yankees have told us he's going to make his next start in the rotation. That's a good thing after the break. But we don't know after that. Well, if you don't know where he's going to be and you're going to treat Luis Gil like he's just a sure thing, yeah, I want another starter. So I don't think if I don't get multiple things to fill these gaps, I am worried about Boston, who is a flawed baseball team. They are, Jake. But you can be a flawed team and still go win a division if that other team's flawed as well.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that. I think with the Yankees, they have to have some controlled aggression. They need to be aggressive, but they can't be overly aggressive. And we were talking about this. We might disagree on it too, but I just don't think there's any way, shape, or form you can trade away Spencer Jones and Cam Schlittler. Unless you're getting somebody like a Juan Soto, who's like, you have years of control or whatever, and you give them away both for this guy. Like, I just don't think there is any way, shape, or form you can do that. I just don't. I think Spencer Jones should probably be on this roster right now. He's just absolutely like nuclear in AAA.
What would you do with him? Would you, because at this point, the Yankees technically, this would be there's a ton of moving parts. Spencer Jones is raking AAA. For those of you, and I don't blame you, if you're not paying attention to the minor leagues every day, I mean, we've got busy lives. A lot of us have jobs. So when you look up and you say, well, Spencer Jones was destroying AA, they called him up sooner than a lot of us thought they would. He kind of fell out of the graces in terms of Yankees fans all staring at him. He starts raking. He opens his stance. He goes to AAA. We say, oh, we'll see what he does there. The rumor is that all the great pitching was in AA, not AAA, right? And people don't really think this because it's the higher level. Well, Spencer Jones makes that seem very true. He is destroying AAA. He is. But he's an outfielder. And the Yankees, for those of you who watch, and I know our listeners watch this team, you know the Yankees have a surplus in the outfield. Yeah. Not where you've got 4 great players, but the Yankees have 4 players in their outfield that they feel comfortable playing. At least Boone does. You've got Trent Grisham, Cody Bellinger, Aaron Judge, and Jason Dominguez. What do you do with those guys? Well, if you call up a Spencer Jones, you've got to get creative. Trent Grisham probably completely falls out of that rotation, and that's fine. But what happens if all of a sudden you're now going to be splitting time between a Spencer Jones and a Jason Dominguez? Are you comfortable with a player breaking into Major League Baseball, splitting reps? I know for me personally, I've never loved that. I just don't. So that's the tricky part about this. It's not just how good do you think Spencer Jones will be for the Yankees. It's where is he supposed to play? And you've got to get creative with that. Do you maybe move Cody Bellinger to first base? Right? So you see all these moving parts to open up a position for Spencer Jones. I just don't know.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm not like against keeping him in AAA. I'm not. I'm against trading him. But I think the best way to go about this is you trade away Grisham. You call up Pereira, who is the most MLB ready of the crop of outfielders. But here's the catch. Pereira isn't a top prospect anymore. He's fallen off a little bit. So he doesn't need to play every day. He's probably a guy that you're going to end up trading anyway, right? Or he'll just be a really good depth piece. He'll probably replace Grisham, if I'm being honest. That's what we're looking at there. So here's the deal, Gary. September call-ups, when Spencer Jones can't play in the minor leagues, is when he should be called up. And he should get a decent run. And they should try and get him ready to see if he can contribute to anything on the postseason roster. And before people disregard that, Peraza and Oswaldo Cabrera were both on postseason rosters back in 2022. So this is what I would say.
So you're saying give him burn in September?
Yes.
Here's the problem. I mean, if you give him burn in September, we're not a shoo-in to win this division at all. We're not in first place. If the Yankees were up 9 games in this division and we were looking behind us and saying, Boston, this whole crochet thing's not really working out. It clearly is. You look at this, and they've got a young stud out in center field in Boston. They just do. So when you look at all these situations, they're all fluid. And not everything has to do with us. But when you turn around and say Toronto's winning more games than we all thought they would, Boston, did any of you think they were going to go on a 10-game win streak? I don't even think they did. But they're a great team right now. Well, all of a sudden, Spencer Jones, who, by the way, I agree with you. I want to see Spencer Jones at the big league level. The problem is that you have to have expectations for all the players that are on the field in September. You have to have expectations that those players, they're not going out there to develop. They're not going out there to do anything other than help you win. And do I think Aaron Boone ever would look at Spencer Jones and say, yeah, he's our best chance to win? Of the 3 guys who can play outfield, I don't see that ever happening. I love the idea, by the way, of using extended rosters to bring a guy up. He doesn't have any opportunity to get reps, so why not bring him here? That I agree with. The problem is that how are you going to get a player burn when Grisham is playing decent baseball, right? You see what Jason Dominguez is doing, playing really good baseball. It's just difficult because I know you were saying you wouldn't trade Spencer Jones for, you're talking about Suarez and Gallen, that pairing. That's been the rumor. I understand that. I've always been a type of mentality on players and prospects, and I'm going to be consistent across the board. I don't care who we trade away. I just don't. I'm not a prospect hugger by any means. However, if I'm going to trade a top prospect, somebody that I really believe has a great future, not a decent future, a great one with this team, I better think greatness is walking through my door. If I'm trading for a player who's just good and I'm trading you great, I've lost that trade to a degree I can't make. I cannot pull the trigger on that. If I'm looking at Gallen, this is a rental, right? He is not good enough on the mound to take that type of risk. Suarez, as good of a year as he's having, not a good enough player to possibly justify what I'd be surrendering. So, having said that, you probably just aren't going to be the team that's the match for the Arizona Diamondbacks, if that's the case. So that's where I'm at with this. I don't make that trade personally. I'm looking at another team. I'm not sure where, but I need to love the fit. A Duran, maybe a Correa. You need to love the names that are walking through that door to pass up on some of the future that we're looking at.
Yeah, and I still don't. I don't think they move Spencer Jones. I don't think they move Cam, and I do not think they move Lombard Jr. I just don't. I think they're going to do what they did, and I mentioned this off air to you. I think they're going to do what they did with Agustin Ramirez. I think they're going to take advantage of how much Rock Reggio has improved and the way he's playing, and they're going to sell him. I think they're going to take advantage of Rafael Flores potentially, although they really like him. I don't know if you saw the news, by the way. They were getting a lot of calls, even last year, about JC Escara. A lot of teams in this league like him. Kind of coincides with what I was saying, a few episodes ago. I think he gets traded. I don't think Grisham gets traded, although I would sell high on Grisham. And I'm understanding of it, too. Like I told you, like my father doesn't think they should trade Grisham at all. He's a perfect guy to have in the postseason. I'm aware of that. Escara is getting traded. No doubt about it.
Yeah, but if you get rid of, again, Escara is just he's like the fat of our roster. Certainly has value. Mm-hmm. He does. One of the better swings on the team. He can catch. I know the defensive
I'm talking
interference.
About more so you get that roster spot. So now you have another roster spot to play with that maybe you didn't think of ahead of time.
Right. But when we were saying to trade Grisham, we're also saying he's good enough to net you something we really need. That's really what we're saying. Because people always look at our rosters and say, well, get Grisham off they'll say Grisham is just great, right? He's playing great. Why would we trade him? He's got this. He's hit this many home runs. His batting average is 250. His ops is whatever it is, right? And people will read these things and say, well, why would I want to get rid of him? I want to get rid of that guy. I want to get rid of Volpe. I want to get rid of Tim Hill. They'll list off some of the worst players on the roster. Well, do you think other teams are like, hey, Brian, I really, who are you calling for? Who are you calling for? Oh, I'm actually calling for, I want to know what you'd be willing to, we'll give you one of our best relievers, because I know you guys really need relievers. We'll take Volpe off your hands. Yeah, just ahead of arbitration as well. Yeah, sounds good. They're not looking for that. Right. They're going to hang up in our face.
Yeah.
So you guys, you have to understand, and people know this. They didn't really need me to tell them, but it's just a reminder that if you're going to trade a player, and if you want to trade a Spencer Jones, or if you don't, when you trade players that have big-time numbers in the minor leagues, you're not just trading them away and then just not getting what they could have done. You're also getting what you're receiving via trade, whoever that player is. Now, the Yankees, and this could be actually a reason for you, Jake, to say that you don't want to trade Spencer Jones. This is valid. The Yankees haven't necessarily won very many trades. When it comes to big-time trades, how many big trades have the Yankees won? Big trades. I don't love the idea of Brian Cashman being that guy. Like one day he's telling me he didn't know a player would accept a certain offer. The next day he'll say, oh, we had to pay the Yankees tax. They wouldn't have done that for us. Just a bunch of excuses. Get the job done. I am worried about this deadline, but like I said, if the Yankees have a big-time deadline, I believe we can win this division handedly. But if you play with your food and you just continue to say, I don't want to trade this guy because I'm worried we're going to lose value on this, we want to see what he can do, and you end up doing nothing or hardly anything at all, we might be looking at a wild card series. And I'll tell you right now, our audience, and Jake, you and I won't be very happy with that at all.
No, that would piss me off. It's funny with the Volpe thing. You know who where I see him going? I don't know why I can't unsee it. I think he's going
Milwaukee?
to the Braves. I think they're
the Braves.
The Braves. I think the Yankees might buy low on Ozzie Albies. Keep that in mind. I think they might buy low on him. He looks like he is about to hit this huge career regression. I'm not sure I buy it. I think he might need a change of scenery at this point. He signed a 7-year, $35 million contract, which I think would be very good for the Yankees to consider if they could find a spot for him. If they feel like third base or second base, moving Jazz back to third or short, I think that's a player where the way I see it, Gary, is...
I'm good.
No, I get what you're saying.
Sorry, Ozzy. I'm good.
I think, but here's what I'm saying. I don't think you're going to trade Volpe for prospects. I think you're going to have to trade Volpe. Like, you know what's actually kind of funny? It reminds me of when your Eagles and my Rams traded. The Rams traded Sam Bradford, who they knew he's too hurt, right? He's just not going to help us. And the Eagles traded Nick Foles to the Rams. And I feel like that's kind of the move, because think about this. Volpe, as you've brought up, is going to have to go into arbitration after this year. They're going to have to pay him or trade him. I think they're going to trade him for kind of like an equal footing, where I think they're going to get a player who might have some upside. The hope is they come into the Yankees organization. They have a better plan for him, change of scenery. I think they're going to get another struggling player, but I think they're going to feel better about that player for whatever reason. And that's why I've always said, I don't know if they get him. He's always hurt. But I did say, like last year, I predicted a trade. Anthony Volpe for the dude that's always, oh God, what the hell's his name? On the Twins. He's always injured.
Oh, Royce Lewis?
Royce Lewis.
Yeah, he's having one of the worst years you've ever seen this year, which is
I know, but that's
surprising. But
do you see what I'm saying? That's the type of trade that they're going to. I don't think he's going to be around much longer. I just don't.
I don't want the Yankees to trade for. This is my take on this. If you guys want to know my take on the Yankees trades, what they do at the infield, here's my answer. So don't let anyone put me out of context. The Yankees should never bring another player on this roster in the infield to start that they have to figure out. We're going to put him over here. Yeah, he's a second baseman. We can probably squeeze him over to third. Oh, he's a third baseman, but he can also play second base, so he's going to play second for us. Those days I want to be over. Go trade for a third baseman. You look up his position, and you're saying we've got a huge gaping hole at third base. We are bad at third, right? Peraza's given us nothing. Okay, awesome. Good for you guys. But let's turn around and trade or sign in free agency a guy who literally is his job. He's ready to play third base before the season starts. He knows he's the third baseman. That's what I want. I feel like that is as clear cut and dry as it could be. I don't want Ozzie Albies. I don't want another player that can play second base that maybe you solve offensively. And then all of a sudden Jazz, who I love, Jake, love him at second base. Think he's a much better player over there. He just is. It's his home position. You're going to now squeeze him over to third base or even have to talk about it again. I don't want Aaron Boone to have another conversation about where certain guys need to be playing. So I just think Anthony Volpe, if you're going to go into arbitration, just trade him for whatever in the offseason. It's not now. You don't have a better option. So you just let him go out there and play and you just hope for the best. And obviously, if someone better is available via trade at the deadline, you should make that happen. But I don't anticipate it to happen. So having said all of these things, you go into the offseason and he's in arbitration, get rid of him. That's your job. And because you can't fix him. You've shown that over three full seasons of baseball. So if you're just going to sell me, no, it wasn't. Year 1, 2, and 3 of Volpe wasn't who he really is. Year 4, 5, and 6 is going to be. If that's the hill you're going to die on, I don't want you running this organization. So I hope that Brian Cashman has enough self-awareness to just understand that this is just not working. It's just not. And Paul with the 5, thank you, Paul. Welcome in. Says UK fan of the show. Welcome in. See, that's what we love. See, that's so cool right there. It says, can't wait. My New York trip, September. Game 1, Blue Jays. Game 2, Boston at Fenway. Yeah, he's gonna love Boston. I'll tell you right now. Toronto's cool. Boston is another story, and of course, yeah. I mean, shoot, I'd want to make that trip. Yeah. So Paul,
no, that sounds
thank you
fun.
for getting involved with Yankees Unloaded. Greatly appreciated. And Scotty Boy 26. And says, with the 5, says, what do you think is the real reason Cashman is so blind on Volpe? He cannot be that stupid. So I'm going to just cut it to you straight.
He's
and Jake,
too comfortable.
I don't even know if it's comfortability. Yes, he's comfortable. So I will agree with you, overall with that takeaway. But when it comes to Anthony Volpe, you guys have to remember, a lot of times when we're the ones who concoct a hypothesis, right? We're the ones who I'm going to draw this conclusion. And I have arrived that this player is going to be your guys' savior. He's not going to be Derek Jeter, but he's going to be a major part of the future. I'm putting my name behind that. Everything about me is putting it behind this. You can listen to it. You can hear from the tone of his voice, his word choice, everything about Brian Cashman and how he's spoken about Volpe wasn't just confidence. It was cockiness. It was, I know something and you jabronis just don't. You guys don't know baseball the way that we do as a unit, this Yankees organization. We know what we've got in this kid. You guys don't. Okay. So essentially what we did was we were bothered at the time with how he was speaking. He looked ridiculous, I'll add. But then as time went on, people are waiting for your words to become untrue. And long behold, a person who's now gone on year 16 without winning a title ends up being wrong about a player. Go figure. So he wants this to work, and you know what's going to happen when someone desperately wants it to work? It's just like, Jake, a relationship that people are forcing that's just not working. It lasts a few years too long, unfortunately. And so everyone else can figure it out. If you ask other organizations, hey, what do you think about Volpe? They'd say, I don't know what the Yankees are doing with that kid. That's what they all say. And yet we're the last people, our own organization, that are going to recognize that this is just not the ticket for the Yankees' future. It's sad.
Yeah, and I'll say this. Brian Cashman is too comfortable. When you are in a place of power like that, where you are the general manager of the New York Yankees, 27 world championships, storied history, players like, Aaron Judge, Mickey Mantle, all of that have come through the door, and you don't have any pressure to get anything done. I mean, like, to be honest, right? When you look at general managers in other sports, they're getting fired for this Anthony Volpe move. They're getting fired for Peraza. They're getting fired for all this shit. You know what I mean? And the reason they're in a position, like, think about this for a second. Long term, your catcher could be Wells, could be Rice, could be Flores, right? Urena, who he's hitting well. They have catchers. They are good at catcher. First base, Ben Rice. You have Rumfield, who's probably going to go into the Rule 5 draft or get traded. Who after that, right? Then at second base.
You could say Cody Bellinger could flex over to first base.
Yeah. Second base, you got Jazz, assuming he gets re-signed. So there is a step there. Jazz, Rock Reggio,
Anthony Volpe.
Yeah, they won't move him there. Shortstop, you have Anthony Volpe, George Lombard Jr., you have Oswald Peraza. That's like it. And now you get that kid. I'm totally forgetting his name now. The guy the two guys they just drafted, Kent and the other guy. Third base. Did you just see the tumbleweed go by? I don't know who the hell's playing third base.
Cabrera after he returns from major injury.
Oh, right. That's right. By the way, great stuff here. The point being, I'm not going to bore you with the outfield because the outfield is probably the most fun part about it because they have so many outfielders.
Easily the most fun.
But here's the issue, okay? My point being is that Brian Cashman deserves all the blame for putting himself and the team in this position. They don't have any third base prospects. Roman Anthony is a third baseman, right? Or is he second baseman?
I have no idea where he plays.
The point being, the Red Sox had a surplus, and they still got Bregman. I said it then, I'll say it now. The Yankees already had spent enough money where they have the least amount of draft capital in this draft. Now, that's a different story. I think the way they do the draft is horrific, and that's why the draft will never, ever be on the level of the NFL draft. Ever.
So you're not a fan of the big spenders. They're not allowed to make selections, right?
Penalizing anybody is insane. That's the entire point of the order. The best teams pick later on. They don't just not pick. So, so what I'll say is this, Gary. When you look at everything that has gone on with the Yankees, right? Really, the whole year, we have been talking about third base in some capacity. And we both said the last episode we made before the Yankees actually played baseball was they need to go out and get Alex Bregman. And you know what happened? Alex Bregman not only wasn't a New York Yankee, and I understand he's been hurt. I don't care. They're talking about, Alex Bregman is going to be huge in the second half. I'm telling you this right now. Yeah,
it's the premise of the decision. Yes, if a player ends up breaking a leg and he doesn't get to play the rest of the year, is another team who could have signed that free agent supposed to be like, oh, well, I'm glad we didn't sign him? No. Alex Bregman, the Boston Red Sox were investing in the player, not potential injury.
He went to your rival. He went to your rival that could stop you from repeating as AL East champions. He went to your rival that has won 10 games without him, right? He's not even on the field yet, I don't think.
Right.
He's going to be on the field at the start of the second half of the season, which is what Cora confirmed. But they've been doing this all with kids. What's going to happen when Bregman brings that energy? He's a really good player in the clubhouse as well. I think, kind of like last year when we were talking about Blake Snell and how we were against signing Blake Snell initially. And then we thought about it and you know what? Yeah, they kind of could use a Blake Snell. I feel like last year that kind of reared its ugly head at multiple times. Heel started regressing towards the end of the year. No one wants to talk about it. Heel started regressing. Clark Schmidt got hurt, right? Shocker, I know. Will Warren had a 6 ERA in the minors, and they called him up, and he was just as bad, if not worse, right? So that's the thing, is I feel like the point I'm making here is we start off with a narrative that needs to be talked about. It's not pushed, right? We're not trying to create something out of thin air. It's a valid narrative. We believed, you and I stand by this, that Alex Bregman was the right move. And we wrestled with that. But at the end, when he was still available, we said they should go after him. And right now, just like last year, that narrative is rearing its ugly head. And it has low-key been a part of the reason, the part of the issue, the whole year. Okay? You can say, oh, well, we didn't know Oswaldo Cabrera was going to go down. It doesn't matter. Oswaldo Cabrera was never going to play over Bregman, ever. So that's the thing, Gary. I think looking back on that, I think they absolutely whiffed on not signing Alex Bregman. And I like a lot of what they did, but giving Brian Cashman a pass because he took on money from a contract in Cody Bellinger and then just saying, well, he only traded Cody Poteet, and I know you love this one. I think that is ridiculous. He doesn't deserve credit for that at all.
By the way, did we ever talk about the domino effect of not signing Bregman? Now, by the way, I wasn't nearly as strong on this, but let me just briefly bring it up because I'm not going to go on a 30-minute tangent about it. But let's just say Alex Bregman comes through the door, or any third baseman on the free agency market, anybody. If you bring in a third baseman, his job is to play third base. Where's Jazz Chisholm playing? Can you tell me?
Second base.
Second base. Who's not touching the field that year? DJ LeMahieu. So for all of you that were complaining about his range and how he cost us a few games, right? The Yankees have a certain plus minus. They just don't know how. They ended up with the win-loss record that they had, right? Jazz was playing terrible defense at third base. He was. We were getting terrible second base defense from DJ LeMahieu, albeit he was still hitting, right? Hitting over 265. Still good, but not good enough to outweigh that defense. So you have 2 players playing out of position now because you didn't go sign that one player or any other player for the position. That's how important these decisions are to make. When you're the New York Yankees, you shouldn't have holes in your roster. You just shouldn't. You shouldn't have guys playing out of position. You spend too much money to possibly justify all the movement that we see. Aaron Boone apparently has the leash to pull. He's just able to say you're gonna play third today. Oh no, Peraza now is gonna play second. We're like, why today? Oh, because Jazz is gonna play third. There shouldn't be this much movement in the field, and yet there is because of Brian Cashman's decisions in the offseason. So that's all my conclusion was really about. Go sign a third baseman, right? And if it costs you a lot of money, that's your own fault. You didn't develop a prospect that you believe. Because if you really believed in those prospects, you would call them up and put your job on the line. You would say, that guy's a good enough player to help us win games. I'm not just going to talk about him. I'm going to show you how good he is. He's going to get on the field and perform. That's what a prospect is. But the Yankees will tell you all day long till they're blue in the face, we love this guy. The Yankees are high on that guy. And do you see that guy? No, you don't. And yet, they'll say no to those prospects, and they'll also say no to the free agent. And by the way, Jake, do you know what I said about Bregman? I was like, I'm not sure on Bregman. Despite the room at third base, do you know what it was? It was Kyle Tucker, right? The idea that Kyle Tucker is going to be available, he technically at the time could have been had via trade from Houston. We obviously weren't willing to even put Luis Gil as part of that package to bring him in, right? The rest is history. He ends up in Chicago. It's been a great fit. But people still expect him to be a free agent. You don't expect him to sign with the Yankees. Why? Part of that could be that you just don't think the Yankees are going to go that deep into the waters in terms of money. That's certainly possible. I really am behind you there. But also, the Yankees have Judge, Dominguez, and Spencer Jones in the wings, right? So the Yankees easily can just say, we're not going to go sign a free agent now because we've got this going on. That's what they can tell you. So it just seems like we always have a reason to not go out and get that free agent or just go get another one. The Yankees just tend to find ways to gaslight themselves out of it.
Yeah, I really think we're going to look back, and I mean, we're already doing it now, but we're going to look back in like October and be like, wow, we really should have gotten Alex Bregman. Like, that's the type of player that you want. And, I mean, you saw it immediately. He comes to the Red Sox. He hits 296. He has 11 bombs and only 205 at-bats, 61
Didn't they say
hits,
he had bad numbers at Yankee Stadium? Was that part of the narrative as to why not to bring him?
Well, that's what, when we did a deep dive, no one talked about that, but when we did a deep dive, we found that he had some decently bad numbers at Yankee Stadium. Did I really care? I did initially, and then I didn't. It was very similar to the Max Fried thing. Oh, he doesn't have good postseason numbers. But you know what? It's a limited, things change, right? And it was a very limited sample size because he had also dealt with injury. But Max Fried, from this blister, which isn't really an injury, it's just an unfortunate event that does happen to pitchers, and it is incredibly frustrating because of just how intricate. And I saw you were talking about this, and apparently there were fans that were trying to, brush it off, like, oh, here's a blister, get out there and pitch. It's not that easy. It's actually a severe thing.
Oh, people were saying that. I'm like, you realize where the blister is the last part that touches the baseball.
Exactly.
That's why the blister is there in the first place. It absolutely impacts. I mean, for those of you who golf, if you have a blister on your hand, tell me how you golfed after that.
I have a blister on my
Tell me
hand.
how it went for you. It went terrible.
Great.
I promise you, it went terrible.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And by the way, with the whole third baseman thing, that's why I wanted Quentin Young so bad. I felt like they dropped the ball on not drafting Quentin Young, who ended up falling to the Twins after the Yankees pick. Third base outfielder.
You know what, though? How
really
long did you expect him to
power.
be ready, in your opinion? Like, think about this, right?
Well, no, I know. I mean, he's 18, right? He's 18. He's
Right.
got good bloodline with Dimitri and Delman Young. But,
yes.
But it's going to take him time. My point is, I don't really know a damn player in this organization that I would be like, yeah, he could be a future third baseman for this team. You know what? The other day when we were talking about Muntaka Murakami, I was thinking about it when I got off. I'm giving them way too much credit. I don't actually think they have a plan at third base. I think they continue to show us they don't have a plan.
Oh, you thought for a second that they had a plan?
For a second, yes.
No, they still, by the way, they still may end up going to get this player. Like, that still could happen. But to watch what the Yankees were doing at second base, third base, left field, rotating between Grisham and Dominguez. Dominguez is yo-yoing from 7th to leadoff, back to 8th to 2nd. Guys, the plan is just, there's no plan. There is no plan. It's an analytic. And so when you mentioned, like, oh, Quinn Young would have been great, just so we have somebody in the room, we're like, oh, that guy could be a great third baseman. Here's the thing. When you draft players, these guys, you should never be like, we have a hole at shortstop. Let's draft a shortstop. That player's not going to be ready for 3 or 4, and he's 18 years old. He won't be ready at best for 3 seasons. If the Yankees haven't acquired a third baseman, like a mainstay third baseman, by 2028, 2029, we have bigger problems. We have major problems in the Bronx. So these prospects are supposed to be icing on the cake. Oh, yeah, we might lose this third baseman, but we've actually got a guy that we can call up that we trust, and we're going to give him run. We think we're going to go out and win a division, and he's going to be our third baseman. But the Yankees seem to be like trying to solve their problems on the fly via the draft, and I just would never look at like third base or shortstop and be like, Volpe's bad. I saw people saying the Yankees can draft a shortstop. Is that Volpe's replacement? No. Volpe's replacement is somewhere on the free agency market this offseason, or you're talking about a player, via trade in the very near future. So this shouldn't be long. Jeff J with the 5 with the super, also a member here at Yankees Unloaded, says biggest disappointment was Brian Taylor, number 1 overall in 1991, towards labrum in a brawl, never pitched in the majors. So
I agree with this, by the way.
At least there's an injury aspect to this. That's horrible. It's bad. It is. But Anthony Volpe, as far as we know, is,
though. That's the thing.
Yes.
It's not Brian Cashman.
Which was the catch. That was the catch.
He's 100% right. This is one of the craziest. Yeah, the Brian Taylor thing is gnarly. And then, unfortunately, his life just, I mean, as you would expect. I mean, he lost everything in that, and then his life went down the tubes. But, yeah, he was supposed to be, like, big time. I would hear about him all the time. My dad talked about it. Like, he was supposed to be, like, really freaking good. This isn't just, like, a guy. And you were drafted number 1 overall in 1991. You were legit. Because I would honestly make the argument, Gary, and I could be wrong here, but I'd make the argument the draft today, there's too much analysis. It's like analysis paralysis that I think they miss guys that are right there. I do. Ethan Holiday went 4 today. Ethan Holiday is clearly the best prospect in this draft.
Yeah, it was kind of a bummer to see him go to Colorado. I'm going to be honest with you.
That's where his dad was. I know. I agree completely.
Him going to Colorado is just, it's a bummer. You hope he's a good player. Of course. Yeah. We're rooting for all these guys. But for him to go to the Rockies, we know the Rockies, they won't be good this year. They won't be good in 2026. They won't be good when he comes up to the big leagues. And he may be great. But we'll be talking 6 years from now, Yankees Unloaded. You and I might have a couple gray hairs. We'll be like, hey, who's going to trade for Holiday? They're going to be like, who's Volpe's replacement? It's going to be Holiday 4 years from now.
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine? And by the way, guys, if you guys are new here, I know we have almost 600 people in here. Please make sure you guys subscribe and like this video. And if you subscribe, when we reach 10,000 subs, we are giving away a Yankees jersey of your choice. I always like to put it this way. It's not going to be some Fruit of the Loom t-shirt that we send you for $12. No, it's going to be in the team store, a real Yankees jersey. So make sure you guys get involved. We will announce the winner live on our podcast. Yeah, no fugazi giveaways. It's gonna be legit. So we really appreciate you guys' support. Obviously, this podcast is growing a lot faster than, especially the people outside of this podcast, ever thought it would. But Jake and I definitely believe
to see those people chauffeur in here.
Oh yeah, that's definitely true. But Jeff J, again, thank you for the super and getting involved in actually helping out this podcast. And Marion, welcome in. Love when people have their animals as their picture.
Yes.
But thank you for the 2. Says, I don't know, is on 3rd. Yeah.
I love that.
Cabrera was our option. That's not good.
No.
I'm sorry. And we feel really bad for him. We were rooting for him. I mean, he's one of my favorite players on the roster. But did I think that that's like a World Series caliber, long-term, year 3, year 4, year 5? Like we can project that into the future as a third baseman mainstay? No, not really. So
you know what's
it's
funny?
a bummer.
Cabrera, if he was healthy right now, we would be calling for him to start at shortstop over Volpe. You realize that, right? Like he would have the bat to be like, yeah. And Volpe, the bar's so low as like with him defensively right now. Cabrera has a better arm. Oswaldo Cabrera would be my guy to play shortstop right now if he was healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even doubt it. But can I even ask the audience a question? If Isaiah Kiner-Falefa was on this roster, would you want him starting at shortstop over Volpe? Be honest.
100%.
You don't have to agree with that. You don't.
100%.
Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is not a future All-Star. He's just not. He's not going to hit 325. He's not going to slug and hit 30 bombs. He's not going to win a Gold Glove at that position. Would you put him there? And mind you, I'm not telling you the Yankees should do this. My answer is that I would. And that shows you where we're at in terms of the production, in terms of the expectation, not just for what's happening today or tomorrow, but what happens in game 1 of the wild card. What happens in game 5 of a division series? Do I want a ground ball hit to Volpe's left and he has to hold the ball and turn and make a throw to another base? Do I think he's going to make the right decision? Jake, do I think he'll be aggressive on ground balls rather than playing it back? He hasn't shown me he can do that during the regular season. That's what worries me. So, yeah, my answer is yes.
By the way, his fielding run value really increased since last time I looked at it. It's at 33 now. It was like 17 before. Volpe's is at 35. So Volpe is a 2% better fielder right now. But Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is 81st percentile in K rate and 92 percentile in whiff rate. Think about how many times you hear that god-awful Trap Queen song come up, and you know Volpe's coming up to the
worst.
plate.
Is it not the worst walk-up song ever?
No, because the worst walk-up song ever was whatever the hell Volpe had before that. That's saying something. So Volpe
I didn't even know what it was. I used to just walk away from my TV.
It was like ditzy pop music. Like I'm talking like pop star, like it, but it wasn't Britney Spears. It was like Temu Britney Spears. Like it was awful. Point being though, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, if he was playing shortstop over Volpe right now, he'd be coming up in those spots. And I know he's not going to just whiff. And the thing about Kiner-Falefa is, does he swing the bat hard? No. He has like no contact, hard contact at all, right? But I don't need him to do a ton. The thing with Volpe, and this is actually where chase rate, I don't give a shit. I'm going to explain. Volpe's chase rate is actually in the red. It's the only thing he has in the red. I'm not kidding you. Literally 84th percentile. Oh, and his sprint speed now is 79 percentile. But his chase rate is at an 84th.
Too bad he doesn't get to use that.
I know. His chase rate's at an 84th percentile. Gary, what do I care if he's striking out at a 23.9% rate? What do I care if he's whiffing more than 25% of the time? When I have Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, he's whiffing 15% of the time. He is striking out 15.9% of the time. I get that guy at the plate. He's hitting 274. He has a 318 on base. I don't care that he doesn't slug a lick. If he comes in and gets one of those bleeder singles, that is going to be a lot more valuable than whatever the hell Volpe is going to do.
Hold on a second, Jake, but how many shortstops can I even name in Major League Baseball right now? Don't tell me about defensive run save. Tell me about the overall player. How many teams in the sport of the 30, so the 29 remaining, have a shortstop that we wouldn't trade Volpe for? Because I told you before, Dansby Swanson's the starting shortstop of the Cubs. We would throw Anthony Volpe like a football to have Swanson as our shortstop. Woo. It would be an easy decision, right? How many shortstops are there in baseball that our Yankees audience would be like, oh yeah, I don't love that guy, but he's better certainly than what we've got? There are a lot. There's probably being honest, there's probably 22 shortstops in baseball that I would take over Volpe right now.
So looking at it right now, You got Taylor Walls, right, from Tampa. Walls, I would take Volpe over. I think Walls terrible.
Yeah, that's fair.
Nick Allen from Atlanta, I would take Volpe over.
Right. I think I said 20,
Jeremy Pena, I would
22.
pray to God somehow he'd be a Yankee. God, he's awesome. Mookie Betts.
Obviously,
Seager,
you see
Corey
Big Boss
Seager.
Baby Bomber, Neto, of course.
Yeah,
right?
Neto.
The good players. Yeah.
Neto is essentially what Volpe was supposed to be. Now, Neto is not a good fielder, to be fair, but we wouldn't care because if he is doing what Volpe's doing, I think he's actually worse, believe it or not. But 279 batting average, 15 home runs, and 818 OPS. Do you realize you add that in the lineup, and the Yankees probably have 5 more wins than they do right now over Volpe because Volpe is killing them offensively, killing them. I mean, he has 6 hits in the last 45 at bats. Bobby Witt Jr., you take Bobby Witt Jr. You would take Mason Wynn all day, every day. Then you have Jose Caballero. I would personally take Volpe. So Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, I'd take Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Dansby Swanson.
Jake. Kitty Cat's Heaven, I want to throw you up on screen. Again, thank you for getting involved in this podcast. Not all of us have to agree. So thank you for being here. Says, that's a stretch, brother Sheffield. We just shut out the best offense in baseball, 11-0. We have a great team. I agree, bullpen depth. But other teams are dealing with the same thing. I'm assuming he's talking about it's a stretch about shortstop. Well, the Miami Marlins won 11-1 today.
Yeah,
right?
no, I don't
that
want
happens
to put
from
too
a
much
day
stock into that.
You can't put too much stock into what happens on a day-to-day basis. All of our judgment, and this goes for the good and the bad. Like the good, the Cody Bellingers, like all those positive conversations that we have, and they go at length. We try to be positive, for sure. But all of it has to do with long-term numbers, not a day or a week or a couple weeks. What did you do over the course, on average, the median, over the last 3 full seasons that you've played baseball? That's the player I'm going to judge. And if I look at that player on average for 3 seasons and say, yeah, he's just not able to comfortably give me not 300. I don't need him to be Bobby Witt, but 250. He's not able to consistently give that to me. Okay, well, what do the power numbers look like? Well, his ops is under league average. The average Major League Baseball player who steps into the batter's box, they have a higher ops than Anthony Volpe. Okay, so what about the defense? Analytically, the arm, the range, all of it is regressing and below league average at the position. So when you look up how many players in the sport are you like, I'm sure glad that that guy is in that position, wherever he plays, right field, center field, wherever, that is below average in range, arm. You said speed has started to take a turn, like honestly, for a good path, which is great, right? So he's fast. That's a good thing. Not a great glove. He's not aggressive, which the manager had to address today. He had to address it today.
Yeah.
Then how is it possibly an issue that we're bringing up this player? It shouldn't be. Anthony Volpe is the reason that we shut out a team 11-0. No, he's not. No, he's not. He's the reason for his own output. And so that's obviously what we're addressing. So again, thank you for getting involved. Just wanted to make sure we address it.
Yeah. And by the way, I want to give you props. You said, you kind of saw him as being a Dansby Swanson. I think that's where he ends up. I genuinely think we're looking at a spitting image of what Volpe is at 30 years old. That's what I feel. I feel like he'll have 15 home runs. He'll have like a 713 on base percentage. And, maybe he hits like 250, 260. That's what I think he'll end up being.
A team will take that.
You'll take that. But the problem is we're talking about, this is not the Marlins where you can just kind of piss around and just, okay, we're not going to go to the World Series anyway. You have Aaron Judge, you have Garrett Cole. Max Fried's 31, right? These guys deserve to, be able to compete for something real, right? And I just don't, they don't have time to wait for this. Trevor Story, I would take over Volpe right now. Story's actually having a pretty decent season.
Thankfully, because he's been dealing with shoulder injuries. Just it seems like everything.
JP
Crawford.
He's finally.
I take JP Crawford at
290, 782 OPS. So there are guys out there for sure. I'm not going to read the whole list. There's a lot here. There's a lot, but that's my take on that. Is that look like. I understand it might seem like, we're quick to pull the trigger on Volpe, but I think we've given him I mean, would I rather have him or Jorge Mateo? I'd rather have Volpe. So I want to make that clear. I'm not just saying Volpe's the worst shortstop in the league. I am not at all saying that. But would I rather have Josh Smith, who came up in the Yankees farm system and they traded him away for freaking Joey Gallo, who I hated that trade. I would 100% rather have Josh Smith.
That might be your least favorite.
276. He's saying 277, 8 home runs. He's got 769 OPS. If you put him batting 8th or 9th right now, this offense is astronomically better. And that, that's why. Also, kind of a reminder, you will have to lose a trade, and we talked about this. You will have to lose a trade if you want a big time, splash. I'm not willing to lose a trade like the Yankees lost with Joey Gallo. And I'm not saying that they got crushed. Glenn Otto didn't really end up being anything special. Ezekiel Duran looked like a superstar, looked like they struck gold. He's fallen off a cliff. But Josh Smith could easily be starting at shortstop for the Yankees right now. He's a very good player. I wish he was, to be honest.
Would you say, by the way, that you wouldn't call Anthony Volpe?
I wouldn't call him.
Yeah, you said you wouldn't call him. Would you say one of the worst shortstops? What was your word choice?
Yeah, I wouldn't call him the worst shortstop in the league because,
calling him the worst is saying that you're number 30. Yeah, out of the 30, I'd say he's probably floating anywhere between 20 and 25. Is that fair?
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Do you know how bad it's got to be for your prospect? You call him your top prospect to even be able to say that.
Absolutely.
And by the way, the majority thinks this. It's not just me. Don't think it's Gary's with this platform and Jake's platform. No, it's not just us two. The majority think this player is a 20 to 25 player at shortstop. So it's really just pathetic. DP with the 10, with the super with the 10. Thank you. Says, what about Scranton third baseman Jose Rojas as a stopgap? Love that we're already talking about stopgaps again. Says he's hitting 283 with 13 homers, 57 ribbies. My daughter seems to agree that it'd be a great pickup. 57 ribbies, 22 doubles, averages more than a hit a game. Call him up. So, yeah, Jake, what do you think about the concept of the Yankees? First of all, I don't think this will happen at all. So, DP, I love that we're at least getting the wheels turning here. We're trying to think about a solution. This is good. However, you have to ask yourself, we're not in charge. I don't make any decisions. Jake's not making a single decision for the Yankees. At least I don't think he is. But having said this, do you think the man who is making the decisions in Brian Cashman will make that decision? Regardless of if you think it's right or wrong, do you think he'll make that call? For me personally, I'll speak for me. I don't see Brian Cashman making this decision because if he does, it's him saying, yeah, my choice that I made couple years ago, all those things I said in the offseason, yeah, that's all meme material now. This didn't work.
So I'm actually going to push back on this. Surprisingly.
You think this could happen?
No, I'm going to push back on saying that this shouldn't happen. Hear me out. Rojas. Wait. Calling up Rojas.
I think it should happen.
Oh, you do?
Yes. No, I'm saying it should happen, but you have to ask yourself, is this even a question worth asking? Because the guy who's in charge of making the choice will not make this choice.
No, I agree with that. I have no issue with it happening, but understand this, right? He's 32, okay? He is hitting 885 OPS, 283 batting average, 13 home runs, 57 RBIs, like mentioned here. That's good. Here's my concern. It's happening in AAA. We're watching what Spencer Jones is doing to AAA pitching. AA pitching is the best pitching. This is where the guys that aren't really good enough to be in the major leagues, they live out the rest of their days, okay? This is essentially the purgatory for those veterans that don't really make it back. Jose Rojas could get called up, and I'd have no issue with it, right?
No problem at all.
None. But here's the deal. I don't think he would do anything in the major leagues. He has a career 188 batting average in the major leagues and a 584 OPS. I feel like, unfortunately, we have to realize, and I am starting to learn from this, he's just a career minor leaguer. And you know what really kind of broke the glass in my mind and kind of opened up the bigger picture for me? It was Alan Winans. Winans is dominant in AAA. AAA is the worst pitching.
Oh, yeah, I saw the stuff.
the best hitters are in Double A. That's really what's happening. That's why Spencer Jones was there for so long. It's why Flores is there right now. It's why they haven't called up Rock Reggio. Because once you do that, they're going to go nuclear in AAA. It's also why B-Boss doesn't look like he's almost there. You know, he has the at-bats that like we talk about his patience, but he doesn't really offer much offensively and defensively for that matter. So that's my concern, Gary. You know, you call up Rojas, I'm not going to be like upset, right? I'm not rooting against this guy, but there is a reason why he's in AAA. He's hitting 283 as 885 OPS. There's a reason why he's basically that for his entire career. He's had 2,645 at bats, and in that time, he's hit 281 with a 857 OPS. And conventional wisdom would think, oh, that guy, call him up. He's playing well. And I used to fall for this. But Winans totally opened up my eyes because, 29-year-old pitcher. Guys just can't cut it in the majors. There are some guys that just can't do it. And
yeah, they're not good sitting down there in the minors for that. Like, there are good players, certainly, that
like if you put him in if you put him in Double A, his batting average would go down.
Yeah, probably.
So,
which, by the way, the conclusion should be, it should tell you, DP. So, again, thank you for the 10 supporting Yankees Unloaded.
Appreciate you, DP.
It should tell you the Yankees don't have a player. If they won't make this call, it tells you they don't have an option. Because if they did have an option, they could be called up right now and play shortstop, even as a stopgap. They would make that call. You know why? Because it would make them look smarter. Because we'd win more games, right? That's their job.
Yeah.
So if you can't make this choice, you're saying, no, Volpe is all the stuff he's doing on the field, good or bad, and a lot of it's bad. Yeah, Jose, we like what you're doing, but it's not good enough even to step in front of that guy. That's the message you send all minor leaguers, no matter what you do with them. So love the fact that we're, again, trying to think about it, but we also have to remember the Yankees' track record as far as these prospects go. They usually pick one or two guys that they really like and they trust, and the rest, they kind of just put them by the wayside. This seems to be one of those guys that's doing that. And Jake, I completely agree, by the way, about the whole idea that, yeah, you might hit 250 in the minor leagues. You're down there for 6 or 7 seasons for a reason. You're not just down there because you now suddenly can play shortstop at the big leagues. It just doesn't work like that. So love the question. I think it's great. But, yeah, Brian Cashman's not doing it. And Jeff J with the 5, thank you for the 5, says, if I win the jersey, I want Papa Chef to sign a jersey. Yeah, we'll try to make that happen. He said he signed a ball for me at an MLB at bat dinner, but my kids found it and played catch. That is brutal. That's why you got to put up the ball.
That is the Sandlot all over again.
Yeah, that's brutal. That is brutal. I've been in a situation like that, actually. I went to a buddy's house when I was like maybe 10, and he had a Mickey Mantle ball, and he accidentally started playing catch with it and smudged the whole baseball. He had multiple, so that helped.
I guess I gotta put this up because this made me laugh. Jeff J, appreciate you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Everson Pereira will never be seen again. Where's he going? He's just, I get the point.
Armando,
he's saying he's
the
probably
point
never
is
coming to.
He has
leagues,
PTSD. He's feeling like the Yankees will. He's not in that inner circle. On the other hand, I think we do see Pereira. I kind of agree with Jake. I think we see this player, but do we see him in the role? Maybe that. Now, mind you, he shouldn't just show up here and be a starter. Bring up bench players, guys out of your system. It's okay to bring up a prospect and know that he's a bench player. That's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with it, but the Yankees seem to think that all your bench players have to be almost starters, and it has to be this battle and fight.
It's so true. Yeah,
they really
think to be fair, he had 93 at bats. He had 151, and he had 427 OPS. I mean, he wasn't like great, but like at the same time,
are you reading Peraza's numbers or his?
His.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but I will point out, he smoked Double-A pitching, smoked it. So it's not like this guy's just like collecting bodies in AAA. Because I mean, like that's the thing. I wish it was. There's not really a way to do it, Gary, because AAA. I was kind of raised. At least as I got into baseball, you're kind of raised like single A. then Double A, then Triple A. But the reality is, Triple A mainly houses professional baseball players who aren't good enough to be in the major leagues.
Yeah, it's like the bus stop.
So
it's like you're just kind of waiting.
I mean,
technically
really,
they
what
can
it
call your
is,
name, but the
you know
Double
what
A
it
guys
is?
are the ones that are ramping up to the big leagues.
It's the UFL. It's the football spring league. That's what it is. You know, because you do no. It's a great comparison. Because think about this: you do have your kind of under the radar. There are guys that are going a little bit different route now. They're like, well, I didn't get drafted, and instead of going to a rookie mini camp, I'm going to go and play in the spring league. You know, or I know I'm not going to get drafted, so I'm going to play in the spring league instead of going in the NFL draft, and then that way they'll know my name. The problem is you're playing with those veterans. So the same thing where, you know, you talk about, the pitching isn't as good. Well, the offensive line play is not good in the UFL. It's why those quarterbacks are dead. Like, they have no chance, unfortunately. So, yeah, I wish it wasn't that way. I wish it wasn't like, all complicated for whatever reason. But the reality is, AAA, the focus is on those veterans, and AA, because of that, you're going to have most of your better pitchers, your better hitters, because teams are going to have the better pitchers. So by virtue, you want your best hitters to really develop in AA and see that stuff. And then your pitchers, you're going to likely see the best hitters because of this pendulum swing. So you want your best pitchers to go up against the best hitters.
So then why did we send Spencer Jones to AAA? Because you mentioned that the best pitching is in AA, right? The best test. But then we said, Spencer Jones, he raked in AA, the most difficult level, right, to hit. You're going to go to AAA. Why did we do that? And we defined it at the time. We said, it's because everyone's scouts are there for the trade deadline. And then now all of a sudden he's hitting in AAA, and people are like,
that's what I think it means. I think it means he's closer. When do the Yankees ever call up anybody from AA? Okay, I can think of two guys off the top of my head who've been called up from AA, just off the top of my head right now.
And who are they?
Bryce Harper.
Okay.
And for the Yankees, Phil Hughes, when he was with the Trenton Thunder. He never pitched for the Columbus Clippers, so he was called up right from AA. And I'm sure was Paul Skeens AA?
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not going to tell you I know where he came from out of that system. I barely know who's on their big league roster. So, I have no idea.
Being, I do think that they were propping Spencer Jones up like he is the next big deal to be called up. Cam Schlittler and Spencer Jones are essentially one and the same in what they were doing to AAA. Like, Cam was absolutely slaying as a pitcher, and Spencer Jones was doing the inverse as a hitter. So
yeah, Annie Freeze says that Paul Skeens did pitch in AAA, so we appreciate the information. Thank you for doing that. And by the way, Jake, is this you dropping the super on our own podcast? Stephen B with the two says Joey Gallo was your biggest bust. Yeah, Jake was not high on that trade. I, at the time when he was traded to the Yankees, I was like, this is going to be awesome. Now, mind you, I didn't get all involved in the whole, he's going to hit 70 homers at Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium is not that easy to hit a home run. And Yankees fans of all fans should know this. But still, somehow, some way, every lefty that signs with the team, people just assume you can add 12 homers to their totals. This guy is a 31 home run guy. He's going to hit 43. No.
I am going to look up my thoughts on Joey Gallo when the trade was made. I am going to look it up. So keep talking. I'll literally post them. How about that?
I'm just gonna stare at you awkwardly till you find it. No, I literally posted Joey Gallo with like a bunch of exclamation points. I was stoked.
Oh my God. We were so the opposite. Okay, so when did they get him?
Sometimes, guys, you just got to know when you're wrong. And I was just, and mind you, I didn't think Joey Gallo was going to be.
Joey Gallo was a damn snail. Dude, I was hating on this guy, the way he walked, the way he talked, the way he moved. Like, I could not stand
There was
him.
nothing good about him. Player. And mind you, he was like, I think he had that super funny clip with MLB The Show thing where he was like, why they use this picture. That was funny. But he was like the tailor-made. Like, if you say, who's the type of personality you want in pinstripes and in New York in this big media where everything's covered? If you sneeze, we talk about it. Yeah, that's the guy you don't want. Where he's just like, way in his head. He cannot make adjustments on the field. Like, this is just X's and O's. He was like the perfect player to fail in pinstripes, if you really think about it.
I've been on the money with some of these because I was saying, I'm not a fan of trading with prospects, but I wanted Andrew Benintendi. I was like, I think they're going to get Andrew Benintendi. Oh, my God. And then I said that about Jazz. I'm trying to find, because I feel like my reaction was like, but I am not really seeing. I knew it was over when Joey Gallo came to the plate. Legitimately don't care for him or Hicks. Weakest links in the lineup. Oh, yeah. Those are my least two favorite players I think I've ever seen. And the fact that they were both on the Yankees at the same time, it was like if we had two Volpes in the lineup.
Do you see this comment? I don't know if this is true or not. So I'm just going to throw it up on screen because that's what we do here. We're risk takers. Then I'll obviously
Rocky.
throw the super back up on there. So Sinatra says, bro farted
this.
in a presser and made the weirdest face. He did not fart.
Dude, he did. I remember
No,
this.
he didn't.
Yes,
I don't
did.
believe you guys.
You could spot a Joey Gallo fan pretty easily around these parts. I tweeted this April 20th, 2022. More often than not, they are the one to hold IKF's production under a microscope to turn the attention away from the fact Gallo is the most useless hitter on the Yankees roster. It's so true. Joey
So you don't think we're going to get an interview with him?
No, Joey Gallo is batting 119. He's simply not worth a roster spot. Me, anytime Joey Gallo comes to the plate in a big spot, oh shit.
Wow. I need to look up this. See, this is why. Remember I told you they should allow us to have super chats where people, like Sinatra should have been able to drop a little snippet of a video and we could have played this farting presser. I can't believe, I still to this day do not believe that happened. There's no damn way.
2022. Joey Gallo is really the worst Yankee of all time. I don't care.
Rocky Sullivan with the 10, also a member at Yankees Unloaded, says, I'm with the majority on Volpe. Yeah, it's Rocky, thank you for the 10. It just sort of goes to show you that we're sort of the Yankees like to tell you we're in a win now mode, but they also tell you don't be impatient on a prospect, even in year 3. Don't do that because then you're just giving up, right? They want there to be brownie points for you to just always believe in a player. Don't be hard on him. Don't criticize areas of his game that need improvement. Don't do any of these things. Just simply wait around, go buy our chicken buckets and buy our jerseys, go sub at Yankees Unloaded and win a free jersey. Do all those things. But my God, do not criticize a player on our field who's hitting 210. Don't do that.
Dude, I love that. I tweeted this.
Are you still going with the Joey Gallo? You tweeted about him a lot.
July 7th. Oh, I'm skipping a lot. July 17th, 2022. So 3 days later, 3 years ago. I wish we could see what Spencer Jones would do day one in the league compared to Joey Gallo. I want to see if he could hit over 160 with no minor league development.
What was his name who did that? He pitched at Arizona State. It is driving me nuts that I can't remember. He was a craft righty. Completely skipped the minors. Oh,
dude. Oh my God, dude. This is funny. Would be awesome to balance out trading away my least favorite acquisition of all time and getting Jose Quintana, who might just be as bad, if not worse, than getting Joey Gallo last year.
Yeah, you've always... See, I didn't know this Jose Quintana thing was this is premeditated. D. Ray with the 2. Thank you for the 2 and supporting the channel, Yankees Unloaded. Greatly appreciated. Yeah. And Stephen B says, Frankie, game 1, Montas was your biggest bust. No. Frankie Montas was not our biggest bust. Again, because I think that's more injury related. We didn't do our homework.
Yeah,
that's not even a bust. You should have just known better. But Anthony Volpe, they left him untouchable. They didn't want to trade him. They didn't want to do all those things. And then he shows up here. It's not like we just like yo-yoed him back to minor leagues or he slid in, got hurt his shoulder. None of those things. This is just who he is, healthy. And so now we see what that is. It's not anything good. But again, Steven, thank you for the super and getting involved. And by the way, what else? I think we should talk about the game because the game... Hey, we'll wait an hour and 30 in, talk about this game was a downright monstrosity. It was horrible to watch. And obviously I'm very thankful that you guys are listening to our podcast, especially now that we know we're going to have a break. But
this was
certainly
quicksand.
Yeah, I mean, this game was horrible. This looked like an old school Yankees game, and I don't mean old school in a good way. Obviously, when you say old school Yankees baseball, you're thinking like early 2000s, late 90s. No, I mean old school as in like 2022, 2021 Yankees, where you show up to the yard. I hate you, Jordan.
Dude, if he didn't do it, I was going to do it. I was literally going in super from my other window to make you read that.
Jordan, thank you for the 2. I hate you.
Thank you, Jordan.
That is, have we gotten that in our presser?
I mean, way back when they were talking about that. They were like,
they're about to say it, especially. I think we get this right before the deadline, just so that Brian Cashman, because again, he thinks he's incredibly, like he's a genius. He really thinks he could have been doing something else, but he chose baseball. No, he is going to say this just ahead of the deadline so he can try and extend his leverage. Oh, we don't need a starter. We just want one. You can't finesse us. Right? He always tells you what the Yankees have before they try and go get something. No. Don't tell me about Luis Gil. Don't tell me about any of these things. He should be a bonus, an addition to what it is that you bring in, which should be a third baseman. Would you say, Jake, 2 relievers? This team needs 2 quality relievers. I shouldn't just say relievers.
Maybe 3.
I'm going to ask maybe 3 good relievers.
Bednar, Duran. Dude, honestly, just keep it simple. Bednar and IKF and get Duran. I honestly, and you could get Willie Castro if you want. I don't care. If you get those 4 players, you're astronomically better.
What do you think it costs for Duran?
You don't
what
need
do you
Gallen.
think? Because Duran is a great arm in the game. What do you think Minnesota asked for? Because they're going to want to trade prospects we don't need. But what if they insist on some of our bigger prospects? What do you say?
So I don't think there's been a correction yet for a lot of people on the Yankees prospects currently. Spencer Jones is way more valuable than given credit for, way more. And our resident expert who says he has sources, I tend to actually believe him, but I don't know for sure. Drew Thorpe, not to be confused with the Drew Thorpe that was traded away from the Yankees, or maybe it is him. We don't know. We have no way of knowing. But he has said that they view Spencer Jones as the guy, the top prospect, and not Lombard Jr. Now, I told you last year, I heard from somebody that said they view Lombard Jr. a lot higher than they view Arias, right? Because there's still people that are like, oh, Roderick Arias. I don't think he ever sees pinstripes. I don't. So looking at kind of the updated slate here on baseball trade values, Lombard Jr. sitting there with 35.6 value. He's 5th on the team. Will Warren is 4th. Jazz Chisholm's 3rd. Austin Wells is 2nd. Aaron Judge is 1st. Schlittler's moved up the rungs. Spencer Jones has moved up the rungs. Here's my thing, okay? I think the Yankees farm system is underrated. I think it's gotten to that point where they've done a lot of course correction on what they normally look for. Remember I was telling you about this?
Yeah, you're by yourself on this one.
I mean that's fine, but I do, and I think the kind of the production speaks for itself. Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, who they got from the Red Sox for Narvaez, he is going to be somebody that they're able to turn around and trade if they want. He's 21, just got.
But you said they
Double
traded
A.
for him.
They got him from the Red Sox, yeah.
Yeah, see, like that's technically it's like in your system, but like you didn't.
But
you didn't draft
that's
him or
why I
develop
said
him.
that though, because there are a lot of teams that are interested in him. But then you have George Lombard Jr., Spencer Jones, and Cam Schlittler, right? Those are the 3 I think the Yankees kind of look as their untouchable 3, unless there's somebody that comes along that is really just you have to trade. There's no
what
Juan
level,
Soto
by
out
the
there.
way, because people always say this, like, because mind you, I hear you, and I actually agree that the Yankees definitely perceive their system this way.
Yeah.
They view those 3 as like their main guys. I don't doubt that. But what type of names do the Yankees really think they have to net where those players actually become involved? Really ask yourself, does Jose Ramirez have to become available for you to be like, oh yeah, I'd move off of George Lombard Jr.? Does it have to get that great? Does it have to be Ketel Marte for you to be like, oh yeah, I'd move this player, right?
Yeah, I have plans for George Lombard Jr. I mean, he just had the best, rookie showcase game. I think Lombard Jr., Spencer Jones, and Cam Schlittler should be untouchable unless I'm getting a player with that is a game changer that can help now, but can help in the future. If I'm not getting a Jazz Chisholm level of control, then I'm not interested. I'm not doing a rental for 3 months to lose guys that are going to be around for maybe 5-6 years. And so
Perfect.
That's how I look at it.
So here's the deal. Here's the deal we're gonna make here on the show. Because mind you, I don't believe in the system nearly as much as you do, which is okay. Like I could be completely wrong, right, and all that. But this is the deal we're gonna make. There is going to be a player. No idea who it's gonna be. I know people want it to be Paul Skeens. They want it, whoever that player is. Baseball, things are fluid. Rafael Devers was just available a few weeks ago. No one thought he'd be available. There is going to be a player that Yankees fans say, "Oh, look at that guy. He's a perfect fit for the Yankees. He's a shortstop. He's a third baseman. He is a perfect fit." You can actually argue he's a game changer for this organization. And I'm going to say right here, right now, I want to see what Brian Cashman does with his prospects. I want to hear if he's going to try and say, "No, I'm not going to trade you that guy, but I'll give you this guy." Because that's what I'm waiting on, is the Yankees are going to see a player who's available, and I have no idea who it's going to be or when it's going to happen. I just know it will happen at some point. I want to see if the Yankees are going to essentially say, yeah, those guys who are untouchable, but they're only untouchable unless so-and-so becomes available. We'll see if they prove that, because that's where I'm at. They keep telling me they've got a short list, 2 or 3 guys, right? Jones and Lombard Jr. And then all of a sudden, an amazing pickup becomes available. And they're like, no, because we believe in the future of this kid. Right? Francisco Lindor became available, and the Yankees told you guys, no, he wouldn't be good in pinstripes. But the guys over there at Citi Field, they thought it'd be a great fit and went and traded for him and got rid of top prospects to make it happen. So there you have it. So, yeah, I'm going to say I hope the Yankee system, I hope you're right, that this ends up bouncing in our direction because it's good for our podcast. It's good for our audience. But somebody is going to be available. No clue who it is. Do you believe that the Yankees will put these names out there if the name's that good? Or are they going to talk about control, right? Oh, it's not 3 years, it's 2 years, right? We've got to pay the player. That's what I want to see. And I don't buy Brian Cashman being aggressive. I just don't. He hasn't done it.
I think, yeah. So, I mean, my thing is, I do think you can hurt your team by being overly aggressive, because if you trade away Spencer Jones and Cam Schlittler, Spencer Jones may not be a guy that helps contribute this year, right? And that's fine. Cam Schlittler, you might need him. Like he just showed us big league stuff. He showed us this velocity. And by the way, he's barely worked with Matt Blake. So he's just scratching the surface of what he can become. And don't take a look at the MLB rankings over on MLB.com, because they have Cam at 10. He's not 10th on their list. He's definitely near the top. So I'm not just trading him away for nothing. I'm not trading him away for a rental. I think most of these guys I'd be fine moving. Now, here's the deal. You know why I see this as kind of underrated? Because I remember for years, I've watched this prospect list. I have followed prospects for 10, 15 years. I've just been Googling how they've done. You know what I'm noticing now?
I hate prospects.
More than ever, get this. Pitchers are pitching well. Hitters are hitting for average. There's power. I will never forget, there were guys like just random ass guys that they would say were top prospects. And my dad and I would sit down and we'd just watch them. We'd discuss them when I was young. And every time it'd be like, yeah, this is our top pitching prospect. He has a 5.52 ERA, or yeah, this is our best hitter in the farm system. He's hitting 230 in high A. And he's 23, like this. To be fair, if you really look at like the trends, the Yankees this is a different farm system. They have changed something. Spencer Jones is showing more power than anybody in minor league baseball right now. Okay. George Lombard Jr. looks like maybe the best defensive infielder in minor league baseball. And then he just showed himself out at the showcase and everyone's buzzing about him. Then you have guys like Bryce Cunningham, or 5-1 with a 1.93 ERA, right? You got Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, who's just been dominant. I mean, he's been dominant his whole time in the minors when he was with the Red Sox. Now he's dominant with the Yankees, and he just got called up to Double-A. He's a starting pitcher.
Right. So these guys are putting up the numbers, which is better than what it was in years past. In years past, they would give you poor numbers, but they would write a whole article about it. The main reporters would say the Yankees are high on this guy. They think he's better than what he's putting out there. They won't trade this player
Which
for
I don't
X
care
and
about.
so-and-so.
Now we have production to actually back this up. And we're seeing
but again,
it all across
that production will mean literally nothing if the right player becomes available and the Yankees tell you, no, we just believe in the future of this. Don't tell me about the future. Tell me about the now. The Yankees haven't had the now in 16 years. So Spencer Jones may be a great player. And I would love to see the future of Spencer Jones. I would. I would love to see the future of George Lombard Jr. I want to see an electric infield. I think all of us do. But if a player, a veteran player who's out there on the market becomes available, and he will the Yankees put these names in a hat to go acquire those guys? If they say no, they're not serious. George Lombard Jr. might be great. He's not going to be that great. To say he's going to be a guaranteed superstar in this game, why would you keep a player or any prospect, by the way?
What superstar are you getting, though, if you trade him? That's
my
what
point.
I need to know.
That's my point, is he will eventually... No, so you're saying you don't think you are. We don't know who's going to be available. Rafael Devers was just available on the trade market, right?
Yeah,
if the Yankees traded for Rafael Devers, do I want to see the future of Spencer Jones or do I want to see the future of George Lombard Jr.? No. I would send those players for Devers. I would. But we're looking at players and they say, well, this guy may be great. What's your organization's history shown you that you can say, yeah, Lindor becomes available? I don't need to trade for him. I don't have to do that. Why? Because we have this. We have the future of that. And that player who may be great, is he going to be a future Hall of Famer the way Francisco Lindor is going to be? The way Rafael Devers may be? Why do that? They're already producing in Major League Baseball. The Yankees, in my opinion, are trying to sell us on farm systems and hope and dreams. It's not good enough. It's not. I want to see the future of George Lombard Jr. I want to see the future of Spencer Jones. But again, my biggest test on this podcast, it's my only takeaway, is when so-and-so, whoever that player is, becomes available, don't tell me about the future of any one player. You should have a price. Every one of these players should be able to be traded for the right player. And the Yankees just seem, in my opinion, to talk themselves out of aggressiveness. And it's the main reason why this organization has been a loser for 16 years. I know Michael Kay may not agree with that. I love Michael Kay. But we haven't popped champagne in 16 years. That matters. And I know people say you've won 90 plus games, all that. Yes, all of it is good. It's not the best. And that's what we're supposed to be trying to do here. So I hope these prospects are part of the future. I do. But man, if a superstar is out there or a great player is out there to help this team in the now, and as you mentioned, totally true, they need to also be able to help us in the future. I can't possibly hold on to these players for a player I know is great.
But they're saying the best player that's going to be available is Suarez. And I like Suarez. I do. And I've talked about going after him. But when
you don't trade these players this, there's no one good. So we agree there. But I'm saying in the future
is that right now, that's what they're talking about. They're saying the Yankees are going to have to let go of one of these guys. And to me, I think that is outrageous. And I'd be furious if they did that.
Oh, who said that?
I think it was Heyman.
I know who said it, but I was waiting for you to say it.
Yeah, I think it was Heyman.
Yeah, so we don't read into that.
Okay. So yeah,
he doesn't know anything.
So here's what I would say. I think you make a list of 5 guys that you just can't afford to trade. Okay?
Okay.
And the list isn't that you can't trade them. It's the list that you only move if you're getting a Juan Soto-esque player. Okay? That's how I feel. Of those 5 guys, Lombard Jr., Spencer Jones, Cam Schlittler, and then I'd probably put in Carlos LaGrange. I want to highlight him real quick because I think he is going to get traded. And I want to make this very clear. I totally get what you're saying. But all these players that you want to trade for, they were prospects at one point. And I feel like when you have guys that have that crazy ceiling, those are the type of guys that you should stick by. The IKFs of your farm system, those are the guys that you should trade. You know why? Because they're more valuable as prospects than they are when they get called up, right?
I want a high baseline. That's all I want. So these players also, prospects have a low floor. That's what nobody talks about.
But that's what I'm saying is when you have a low floor and a low ceiling, right? Or a higher floor and a low ceiling, that's the type of prospect you should trade. You should trade a guy who's going to hit for average, maybe doesn't have the pop, because you can find guys like that on the free agency market.
Well, Anthony Volpe was sold to us as he's a player who has a high ceiling. He wasn't going to be Bobby Witt Jr. We didn't know of him at the time. Yeah. But they told us he had a high ceiling and his floor was high as well. This is going to be a great player. Okay. You get to see, and by the way, I read all of our chat, and this is really good, and I'm going to get back to this Sinatra thing because it's hilarious. And Rick says the Mets traded PCA for Javi Baez. How did that work out? You traded for Javi Baez. That's the end of the trade. Was Javi Baez at the time? Did you love Rick? Did you love that pickup? I didn't.
No.
Did Jake love it? No. Trade. Jake thought it was a bad trade. So did the majority of people in this comment section.
I love it that the Mets trade away PCA, though. It's hilarious.
It's awesome that you traded away PCA, but people always hear about, the Padres, they traded for Fernando Tatis Jr. from the Chicago White Sox. They traded James Shields, right? You traded a top prospect for James Shields. That's your problem. The player that came through the door was not an all-time great player or a player that's a game changer. That was the problem with the trade. The problem, by the way, with trading PCA, I actually don't have a huge problem with doing that. He's obviously electric. They didn't think he was going to be this. But the problem is who came through the door, which Jake also brings up. If it's a Juan Soto-like player, a player that you're like, this is a star. We're bringing in a star. Someone who can change the trajectory of your organization, who can essentially turn the AL East on its head. If that's what you're getting, you should be able to trade anybody. And that's my only takeaway. So that player, over the course of the next 2.5 seasons, I would say, let's say 2 years, someone in baseball who's a stud, a star with control is going to become available. And the Yankees are going to have a choice. They're going to call it emptying their farm system. Are you going to put some of these names that you want to see out on the market? So again, Rick, trading PCA sucks. It's bad. And to be able to control a guy like that, certainly they'd love to have him for control in New York.
I like that you brought that up.
But man, Javi Baez is the player that you traded a top prospect for. I know he's going to be at the All-Star game, but is that the type of talent that you would be willing to give up a top prospect for? I personally, that's my biggest problem.
See, I'll say this, with LaGrange, I think he's got ace stuff.
So you love LaGrange?
He has 113 strikeouts and 77 and a third. Like he's dominating.
How tall is he, by the way? I don't know if you have it in front of him. How big is he?
He is 6'7" and 200 pounds.
Thank you. There you have it.
That's
now, mind you, just being 6'7" doesn't mean you're great, but it's the build grade of an ace.
Ready for this?
I'm ready.
70 fastball.
And that's is that out of 80?
That's out of 80. We never see 70s. Like only Paul Skeens had 70s all across the board. But
yeah, it's like location, movement, velocity, spin. It's just ridiculous.
So what I would compare him to, he's a righty, but I compare him to Dontrelle Willis. He has some control issues, but he's starting to fix them. Okay. And that's why the ERA has dropped significantly. It was 6.86 last year. It was 4.97 before. It's now 3.96. But now you're seeing the strikeouts. You're seeing, missed bats. You're seeing, the batting average against him is now down to 186. They might have something scary down there. And he just got promoted to AA, I think, a few weeks ago. He's 22. He's a young 22, turned 22 in May. I mean, you could end up seeing this guy in the show next year. So I'm not going to say you will, but I think LaGrange could be really, really good. I mean, so he'd be part of my 5. I don't know if you have a 5, but I would probably go Spencer Jones, Lombard Jr., Schlittler, LaGrange, and I really like Flores, man. I think he could be the catcher of the future. 6'4", 232. I'm going to say Flores, or I'm going to go with Bryce Cunningham because I love Bryce Cunningham.
Okay. My list is short because I just don't think I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think any system in Major League Baseball has a list of 6 to 7 names that are all just going to be impact players. They're just not. They may have the ceiling to do it, but to actually have it materialize at the big leagues, it's just not going to happen. I'm going to assume the Yankees system has improved based on the numbers it has. And that's objectively true. But having said all this, my list is 3 names long. Cam Schlittler, Spencer Jones, George Lombard Jr. Those are my 3 that I put down, and I don't call them untradeable. What I say is I will not trade these 3 names unless I'm getting greatness walking through the door. I will package these guys in order to make something happen. Nobody's untouchable. But I want to see the future of these guys unless something else comes available. That's my mentality. The rest of the guys, certainly I'm sure some of them will have impacts at the big league level, but am I willing to put them on that short list? I'm not. And Sinatra with the 5, I wanted to reread it. So just rewatch the Gallo clip. It was so damn loud. He's talking about the fart. Bro is creating wind with the bat and his butt. Obviously, Sinatra didn't write it, but he implied it. And D-Ray with the 5 says, JD versus Goldie leadoff. JD, in my opinion, needs more lineup protection up front where he's at his career to get pitches. Yeah, that's true. Goldie makes adjustments as high experience at bat. So what do you think about this platoon job at leadoff? Because I'll be honest with you, Paul Goldschmidt is deadly against left-handed pitching, but I would love to see Jason Dominguez, regardless of who he's facing. I would like to see him be our everyday leadoff hitter. I think I'm ready for that. I don't know how you feel about it. I don't know if the numbers necessarily justify. Nope. There you have it. Yeah,
I agree completely. I was pissed. I was actually mad. I don't think it's a surprise the moment the Yankees ended their 6-game win streak, Dominguez is out of the lineup. I don't.
And then he was at 6th. He was batting 6th. And then he's batting 6th.
I just think, I don't know if Boone gets like a bonus for how much he can jumble up the lineup, but like it is.
Look how much I'm doing.
It is so irritating, dude. Like, did you see my comment? I got people like pissed at me. I said, "Oh, so that was working too well." Dominguez leading off was working too well. So I guess
it's just making too much sense. He's just growing too much into it. So we need to do something different. We can do a wrinkle. Like we can offer some type of wrinkle. And Rocky, I do
cute.
See you.
That's getting cute. I hate
that's the definition of getting cute. Rocky, a member of ours, says, Gary, does Devers qualify as elite for you? Personally,
I don't think he's going to age well. That's my issue.
He's probably on the edge of elite. He certainly looked elite against Garrett Cole, I'll tell you that much. And how he hit at Yankee Stadium. Yeah. I'd probably say he's just outside of my elite category where I wouldn't empty a system for him. I just think defensively, if he was better with the glove, I'd probably put him in that conversation. But he seems like he's just going to be a perennial DH, especially 3 or 4 years from now. So I'd probably put him outside of it. Really good player. But yeah. But thank you for the question, Rocky.
And we got Mark saying exactly what we were talking about. Appreciate you, Mark.
Yeah, Mark with the 20. Also a member here. Thank you, Mark. Says, just got here. Sorry if addressed. It irks me that when Boone decides to go back to analytics and messing with the lineup again, obviously his example being Dominguez not batting first, not playing. That's amazing that was there. Yanks, he started losing. Consistency is everything. Obviously, Alex Rodriguez agrees. So it seems, though, that the Yankees refuse. They absolutely hate consistency. The word consistency, it's just we're allergic to it. And Mark brings up something interesting. He mentions analytics. Do you really believe, I think Clint Hurdle actually posted on X this week, and he said, believe it or not, AI creates a lot of lineups that I see, and he actually didn't have a problem with it, which I was shocked to see.
I hate that.
I absolutely despise it. I'd be curious to know what our audience thinks about an AI is artificial intelligence. It's human made, so it's not like necessarily a robot's creating it, but there's something to be said for yeah, you can justify a left-handed at bat, right? Against a left-handed arm with Paul Goldschmidt leading off, you can justify it. But is it the correct decision? I feel like my mind and my eyeballs tell me it's just not, right? And so it leaves us in a spot where maybe AI, and I would assume Boone would tell us, no, AI is not making our lineup. I make our lineup. Well, what's the justification to this? Is it we're just going to talk about what Goldschmidt is good at? We're not going to talk about what we're giving up, which is the development of our top prospect, actually, which is what Jason Dominguez is. So interesting. I don't like it, but maybe it changes. I'm not sure what would make it.
All right, so this is what I'm going to do right now. Because you said AI, I'm going to ask Grok to make the best Yankees lineup. That's what we're going to do.
Volpe's going to be hitting too.
All right. Create the best 2025 Yankees lineup.
You're going to be very disappointed. I have a feeling Grok will not know what you're talking about.
We're about to find out.
What if Boone?
We need to consider the current roster, recent acquisitions, player performance, positional flexibility, and injuries as of July 14th, 2025.
Oh my God.
This lineup will be optimized for offensive output, defensive capability, and balance against both right-handed and left-handed pitchers while factoring in the latest roster updates and projections from available sources. Below is the proposed lineup, followed by the rationale for each choice. Oh my God. This is crazy. Although they got it wrong. Although I can actually tell them that Oswaldo Cabrera isn't with us right now. So Oswaldo Cabrera is out for the year. Please recalculate.
Please reassess.
All right, so here we go. Ready?
I'm ready.
See. So given Oswaldo Cabrera's, you already knew he had a season-ending ankle injury. All right, put in LeMahieu. All right, DJ LeMahieu isn't on the roster. Please reassess. Okay, we're gonna get this. Actually, I should just really screenshot this or whatever.
You just have to add in 60 different things of context for it to actually pull up something. So as Jazz leading off, is this in order?
So this is, yeah. So, okay. Can you see that or no?
I mean, you can see it if you squint.
Okay. So rationale for lineup construction. Okay. So versus right-handed pitching, they have Jazz leading off, Bellinger batting second, Aaron Judge batting third, Goldschmidt fourth, Stanton fifth, Wells sixth, Jason Dominguez seventh, Volpe eighth, B-Boss ninth. Then they have starting pitcher included. I don't know why they did that, but
so they know who B-Boss is. Nice.
Yeah. Then left-handed.
Yep.
Goldschmidt leading off, Bellinger second, Judge third, Stanton cleanup, Jazz fifth, Dominguez sixth, Volpe seventh, Austin Wells eighth, Oswald Peraza ninth.
Can I stop you there?
Yes.
You take a look. Did two things should really stick out to you?
Mm-hmm.
One, Trent Grisham was not in there. And two,
Isn't that interesting?
It is very interesting. And two, Jason Dominguez was. Didn't matter if he was facing lefties. It didn't matter if he was facing righties. It didn't matter if Imanaga is on the mound, a tough lefty. None of those things, none of that context mattered. Because even Grok 3, I know Grok 4 is coming out soon. I really don't care.
I tried Grok 4. It took 10 years, so Grok 3.
Yeah, Grok is not good. Sorry, Elon. You don't own Google, so we can say it here on YouTube. Yeah, Grok sucks. But someone or something. Yes, something is telling us that Jason Dominguez shouldn't play every day or be given that opportunity. And I just don't know if I buy it. Also, no Ben Rice. I do see that in the comments. So, Big Boss, yes, you do not see Ben Rice. That is true. But Ben Rice is also not our top prospect. Our top prospect is Jason Dominguez. So, I think that's the topic of conversation as well, is who is being given an opportunity. And yeah, I hope that Jason Dominguez at some point or another does prove to Aaron Boone that he's an everyday guy. I hope that happens. And I will say the defense is definitely It's not aggressive out in left field. It's just not. Anything in front of him, he's letting drop. It's like watching Manny Ramirez play defense, and not at Fenway Park where he was great.
Oh yeah. No, I'm gonna ask Grok where Grok has. Where's Volpe gonna be when it's all said and done here? Except I lost the window. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Russell Jordan wants to know if we're just completely disregarding the Blue Jays. No. Nope. We think the Blue Jays are playing good baseball this year. And if the Yankees take care of business the way that we think they should, they have to have an aggressive deadline to make it happen, of course, then it's the only way you're going to outrun actually multiple teams in the division. Tampa deserves credit. Toronto deserves credit. Take a look at the standings. You see what Boston's right in our rearview mirror. They just are. They're winning games. So, no, there's no one out there that we're disregarding. But the main thing is what the Yankees are doing. That's our focus. And obviously, this isn't Blue Jays Unloaded. So we obviously don't spend 45 minutes on their roster. But appreciate the question.
Grok, peak projection has it being Dansby Swanson.
Look at it. Hold on. Look at it.
It's almost the exact stats he has, bro.
His numbers are up. I'll read them. Dansby Swanson today went 2 for 4. His batting average jumped to 253. His ops, 730.
Yeah, he has 715 OPS and 18 home runs.
Now, be honest. This is a yes or no. This is strictly, Jake, this isn't for you. This is for our audience.
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no? Do the Yankees put in what should today's lineup against today's starting pitcher, what should it be into some type of artificial intelligence software and have it spit out a lineup and then write it down? Do you think that's how the Yankees build a lineup? Or, and by the way, this is a safe space. You can put that Aaron Boone makes the rosters and he makes the lineup and he's just making it wrong. That's also a valid opinion. You're allowed to have them here, especially at Yankees Unloaded, maybe not elsewhere. Here you can. Do you think the Yankees pump it into AI and have it spit it out? I'm interested to know what people think because this could go one of two ways. I have a pretty good idea. My personal opinion, I won't even spit it out. I'll let everyone else at least get something off first.
Look at this. This is wild. So the peak projection is Dansby Swanson, right? Volpe could refine his approach, reducing strikeouts, boosting walks through better pitch recognition. His power speed combo and gold glove defense make him borderline all-star at shortstop. But they have role everyday shortstop. And keep in mind, this is when, like next year and the year after, everyday shortstop batting 7th or 8th in a strong Yankees lineup.
His ceiling is to hit 6th or 7th for the Yankees. Sick top prospect, Brian.
No.
My.
Oh, did you see his ceiling? 260, 325 on base, 745 OPS, 20 home runs. If Volpe maximizes his hit tool and plate discipline, he could become a top 10 shortstop comparable to a prime Trevor Story or Dansby Swanson. Bro, the Swanson comparison that you made is insane.
No way. Yeah. No way it says that.
Yeah, it literally says that right there. Dansby Swanson. Can you read that or no?
Yeah, no, I can read it. I just didn't. I wasn't reading it like fully. I was definitely scanning. I said Dansby Swanson. And by the way, if he was Dansby Swanson, yes, I would be very happy. Very happy. Yeah. That's a good player.
Or prime Trevor Story. Yeah, I'll take both of those guys.
Someone earlier in the comments was like, oh, Trevor Story is way better than Anthony Volpe. Easily. Yeah. Easily he is. So please, if Trevor Story was our shortstop, the Yankees are a much better team. I know
his floor, oh boy.
Injury
230 with a 677 or 675 OPS, 15 homers. If offensive struggles persist, Volpe risks becoming a glove for shortstop. Oh, and poor Grok doesn't know that Volpe isn't good at the glove either.
Hold on. Poor Grok says his floor is actually better numbers than what he's got. His floor, it says his floor is 230 with an on base of 295. Hold on, let me go get it for you guys. He played today, went 0 for 3 because that's what he does. He is hitting 214 with an on base of 287. His floor is better there. So I guess what they're saying, his floor years from now, that is probably true. There's no way he could be this bad. And I don't think he'll be this bad. I think Volpe's ceiling, and I think he'll reach it. I'm being honest. I don't hate Volpe. I'm rooting for him, honestly. I want all these guys to win because in the end, this is a job, and I don't want anyone to lose their job. I want them to land on their feet. And any chance you have to make generational wealth, I'm rooting for everybody. I really am, especially a 24-year-old person. So Anthony Volpe, 3 or 4 years from now, is probably playing on another team. He's probably hitting 245, playing better defense because he's not in New York, maybe move to second base. Hey, maybe you see a Dansby Swanson, a little second base version of Dansby Swanson. Who knows?
So the conclusion Grok is here.
Here we go.
Anthony Volpe's 2025 season is projected to show modest offensive improvement, 235 average, 680 OPS, 16 homers, 22 stolen bases, and whatever F war. With his elite defense, oh boy, and speed keeping him valuable despite a low on base percentage long term, his career hinges on improving contact and plate discipline. At his peak, 2026 to 2028, he could be a 4 to 5 WAR shortstop with a 2020 potential. But his floor is a glove-first contributor, and the Yankees' faith in him, evidenced by consistent playing time, suggests he'll have opportunities to grow into a cornerstone player through 2025, though 2025 is a pivotal year to silence critics. Well, it ain't really happening right now. So,
well, that ceiling, by the way, that they offered of Dansby Swanson, if he was Dansby Swanson, I don't think he would be like a franchise cornerstone still. Like, he's not a guy you're like, oh yeah, we want this guy to be here for 12 years. That's not that good. Dansby Swanson's a good player, but it's not at that level. John with the 5, thank you for the super, says historically the Yankees love to coddle their prospects until they are worthless. To be fair,
they do.
The Yankees, that is true, but the Yankees also haven't had the best prospects. So, and that's in years past. So we're obviously digging into that. But yes, John, you're definitely over the target. Chad C with the 2. Thank you for the 2, Chad. That's awesome. Greatly appreciated. And Chad also has a comment here about Spencer Jones. Thank you again, Chad, for the 2. It says Spencer Jones for a game changer have to do it. Yeah, that's the interesting part, is that you can't force a game changer to be available. You have to be honest with the market, and we're going to see exactly, Jake. I think somebody, at least someone, will be available that we just don't foresee. We have no idea they're going to be available. It'll be fluid. But I wouldn't say we have to trade Spencer Jones. I would say we have to trade him if a game changer becomes available. But I guess that's probably what Chad is getting at here, is that if a game changer is available, don't tell me that you want to see this player potentially become a game changer when you have a guaranteed game changer on the market. So again, Chad, thank you for doing that. And by the way, guys, another reminder, because I don't want anyone to miss out on an opportunity. If you do subscribe to Yankees Unloaded, we're on the quest to 10,000 subscribers. Again, my daughter's screaming in the background. Apparently she really wants the jersey. But yeah, make sure you guys get subscribed. Hit the bell to be notified. We go live after every single game, win or lose. Obviously, we lost today. It's the break, and yet we're still going live. So we really appreciate it. We're giving away a Yankees jersey of your choice. Definitely get involved in that. And of course, like the video. And Jonathan Alvarez, always a huge supporter here at Yankees Unloaded. Thank you for the 5. Says championship or bust. If you want to win and get the necessary pieces to potentially put us over the top, you have to be willing to pay the cost. And also, Jonathan, I'll add to that, and I was trying to explain my take on it, is that you have to sometimes be willing to lose a trade to bring in that game changer that it would take. Last year, if the Dodgers didn't trade for Jack Flaherty, they don't win the World Series. That's how crazy the market is for some of these contenders. And I almost hesitate to call us a contender, but yeah, it kind of goes to show you us failing to acquire a certain player, maybe a Duran, you never know who it may be. Us failing to acquire that player may be the difference between us making another World Series or losing in the wild card to a Boston team or maybe even Toronto.
Yeah. No, I think, it's definitely important to go out and get those. I think they can do it in a way that doesn't completely throw their feature into a loop. And I think they can go out and get Duran. I think they can go out and get Bednar and IKF. And I think that's really all they need. They need 2 bullpen arms, and they need a guy, because Peraza, I'm not like trying to push him off the roster. I think he's still valuable as a pinch runner. I think he's still a very good defensive replacement, defensive specialist. But I mean, his bat is just, it's anemic. Like, he really just doesn't offer anything. He's an auto out. So
I was way wrong about his bat, by the way. I thought that was actually going to be his calling card. And then we were going to struggle to figure out, can he squeeze to second base defensively or go to third base? Wasn't sure where he was going to play.
I was wrong about him.
And all of a sudden, it just completely just flip-flopped. Now he's a glove that can base run and can't hit.
He was a good glove, and then he came to the majors, and I just don't think his glove was developed yet. And now I feel like he's fully developed and is probably, if he played third base the whole year defensively, he'd finish in the top 10 pretty easily. He's a really, really good glove. I mean, Michael Kay and Paul O'Neill talk about this all the time. If only he could hit. Well, I mean, at some point or another, he either has to figure it out, which I don't know if he's going to, or they need to move on. And not move on. Like to me, Peraza is a good bench guy. Like there's nothing wrong with keeping him on your roster, but he's not somebody that should be starting every day if he can't hit. And by the way, I did, just for shits and gigs, I threw in Spencer Jones and Grok, right?
Okay.
Thought this was interesting. Spencer Jones is projected to debut in September. That's what they're saying. Grok thinks September call-up is in Spencer Jones' future like we do. 230 average, 710 OPS, 4 homers, 3 stolen bases in 20 to 30 games. Assuming he sustains the AAA production, Grok's long-term ceiling is him slashing like a 775, it looks, or 785 OPS, 255 batting average, 15 homers and 15 stolen bases, starting left fielder by 2027, provided he reduces strikeout rate. His floor is 210 with a 290 on base and a 380 slugging. That's not very good, but Grok also admits elite power, speed, and recent swing adjustments make 2025 a pivotal year with a strong AAA performance, potentially forcing a roster spot in a crowded Yankees outfield.
Yeah, I'd probably disagree that's a pivotal moment. For Spencer Jones,
I agree completely.
The big
with
moment for him is going to be when Cody Bellinger, who, I'm assuming he's going to opt out. Let's be real. He's playing.
He'll be back, though.
He's outplaying this 1-year contract. So the Yankees are going to have to essentially fork over a 4 or 5 year deal. You're dealing with Scott Boras. They're going to take it to the end. But Cody Bellinger seems to want to be a Yankee. Okay, great. Well, if he's going to be a Yankee and Spencer Jones stays with your organization, unless you move Jason Dominguez to center field, which I don't see happening. I just don't. Maybe it does, but who knows? You move Cody Bellinger over to first base. Ben Rice is probably on the outside looking in again. He's probably not playing. Cody Bellinger has to move into the infield, and now Spencer Jones just has a clear lane to earn a job, and that'll be in 2026. So I think I'm looking forward to what Spencer Jones can do at the big league level, because obviously we see all the comparisons, the Joey Gallo comparisons, and those are so. I'm not just going to call them dumb, because I mean that's like the easy thing to say. I think they're just a little short-sighted in looking at someone's build, right? It's just the same as people look at a Spencer Jones and on the positive side and say, well, he's super tall, he's got power, he's the next Aaron Judge, he's got a similar swing. He's not, right? It's not either. He's not Joey Gallo, he's not Aaron Judge. He's going to be something in between, and I want to find out what that is. Unless, of course, someone great becomes available. If Jose Ramirez becomes available, you already know that's my favorite player in the big leagues. That's the player who is the number one guy on my list, who I wanted to always become a Yankee. I know it's not going to happen, but man, would it be nice.
Let's ask Grok. Who's this player comparison? Matt Wallner? Who is that? Well, I don't even...
Because, by the way, the K rate from Spencer Jones is plummeting. Now, mind you, this is the minor leagues. That's all he's played so far. It's all he's seen. So your K rate declining doesn't mean you're showing up to the big leagues and it's going to translate. But what it does show is he's willing to adjust. Kyle Schwarber. Interesting. Came up as a catcher, obviously.
Yeah.
And Kyle Schwarber has put up a hell of a career, by the way. And if you told me we were getting Kyle Schwarber, a young Kyle Schwarber, I'd take that.
I just had to kind of like simplify it. So yeah, they said Kyle Schwarber, Hunter Renfroe. Well, he's available right now, so that's probably
Only
not good.
bands with the 2. Thank you for the super. Says, any Jets fans in here? Volpe is reminiscent of, I'm assuming he's talking about Zach Wilson.
Oh my God, he is. He's very similar to Zach Wilson.
He is. No, I'm an Eagles fan, so I'm riding a high right now.
All right, the Ellie De La Cruz, I don't get that. I do not get that at all.
Again, it's just because of being tall. I'm telling you. Look at that, 6'6", so he's 6'5". That doesn't mean anything.
Okay, I actually, you know what? I like the Kyle Schwarber one the most. Not just because that's the best player that's there. Represents Jones' power ceiling and 3 outcome potential. Though Jones' speed and early career defense offer more versatility, Schwarber's DH path is a cautionary tale for Jones if defenses slip. So I'll say this. I kind of agree. So what's Wallner doing right now? Because apparently he's on the Twins. I just saw Virtual dropped it. I've never heard of him. So Matt Wallner is a left fielder on the Twins.
I've heard of him. I just don't know the numbers. Not loving it?
748 OPS, 205 batting average, 10 homers. No, I'm sorry. They're doing the whole, he's 6'4", 220. I don't care. Okay, Spencer Jones, like when he's settled in, is going to be hitting 30 bombs a year.
They did the same thing with Caleb Durbin. They're like, he's not tall, so he's a comp with Jose Altuve. Are you kidding me? That's how you
I know.
come up with player
That's
comps.
so
Now, mind you,
disrespectful.
certainly like different body styles. Like they're going to have maybe similar ways how they go about playing. But to just say like, oh, Spencer Jones is super tall. He has speed. He can run, right? He's solid defensively, like surprisingly good for that size. And now all of a sudden his comp has to be Aaron Judge. Like that has to be, it almost pisses people off when we hear it, right? Because you're talking about Aaron Judge is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. With
It's just
postseason
stupid.
success, he might be one of the greatest Yankees of all time, a top 3 Yankee. So, yeah, it bothers people, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think that the one thing that's kind of irking me right now with the Yankees is the whole Ben Rice in limbo. It's like really irritating. I mean, you see the numbers are actually going up. Like his run value is higher. His whiff is now almost in the red, right? So he's cut down on his whiffs. Everything is above average. He doesn't have one thing that is below average. I just feel like he should be playing more.
Can I ask you a question, though, about Ben Rice and his future? Because obviously people look at Savant. There are going to be some people, and I think this is also justified, who are going to say, yes, your analytics look like this. You've got 14 homers. You're hitting 235. It's good, not great. And good might even be a stretch. Okay, it's okay. And these numbers probably should be better given how hard he's hitting the ball. Very smart kid, went to Dartmouth. Like, this is the type of person you want in there. But having said this, if you look at, is it possible to say a player should be playing for you, but given who else is on the roster, he can't play for you long term? So mind you, people look at this player and say he should play first base. He should be the 2026 first baseman. And you say, okay, great, I can really see that. And I agree with it, right? But if Cody Bellinger, who a lot of us want back, if Spencer Jones stays on your roster, you don't trade him, and that's probably the most likely scenario. He's not traded. You've got Dominguez, Jones, Judge. You move Bellinger where? To the infield, right? That's part of the versatility that he provides. Well, then Ben Rice, you have to fully commit to catcher. That has to be the situation. And if you don't want to do that because you like the defensive versatility of some of your other options, then maybe Ben Rice is just this really good player that can play for somebody else, that you can solve some other problem that you clearly have. You have a problem at third base, right? You have a problem. Maybe I wouldn't trade Ben Rice for a bullpen piece, but depending on how great that bullpen piece was, maybe I would, right? So I guess what I'm getting at is I love Ben Rice and everything he does for this team. I really do. But given what it seems like the decision that the Yankees are going to be making over the course of the next 6 months going into this offseason, it seems like there's potential, if Spencer Jones stays on this team, that Cody Bellinger is your first baseman next year. And I just don't know if I want to see Ben Rice just simply be my full-time catcher for years to come. I just think he's either a first baseman, a DH, or nothing.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. It's frustrating to me that they won't even try him at third. That's what's frustrating me. If Escara is playing third right now, or he can play third because he was listed as one of the options they have, that to me is repulsive that they won't give Ben Rice a shot. Because the bottom line is, I'm sorry, he's hitting 292 in a very limited sample size, but hitting 292 in July, right? He has not looked bad at the plate. He's not. That's the thing that's annoying. I keep seeing, he's falling off, all that. But I think the reality is we never see him in the lineup. It feels like he's falling off because you see him once, he goes over 3, and that's all you're thinking. But what you're not acknowledging is that, he's had 7 hits, the last, 3 games that he started in?
It sounds like he just doesn't fit the roster construction of what we have going on. When you have Goldschmidt,
I just think
these guys.
That's why, as third, do you not give him a run there? Again, I understand if you've tried it before,
they think he can't do it.
But how is Escara doing it? He's nowhere near as athletic as Rice. That's the disconnect I have.
Yeah, I can't speak on it because, obviously I have no idea. Ben Rice may be the worst third baseman I've ever seen. He may be.
Easily.
And as you mentioned, they haven't tried it. It's not like he went out there. But you also have to remember, it feels like the time to try stuff was not in mid-July when actually you're now looking up at a division leader. We're looking up at Toronto.
Oh, I agree.
So now it's difficult.
This, to me, this is what bothers me about Boone. I don't normally get on him a lot because I feel like everybody else does, and I'm just like, all right, well, I don't want to just preach to the choir. But my issue is that back when they had a 12-game lead or whatever the hell they had in the division, that's when they could have tried him. Remember I pointed out the Colorado series that they could have tried him at third?
You're talking about the game. Yeah, you're talking about the game where we dropped game 1. We came into that thinking this was a really good time to try something because Ben Rice was finding himself outside the lineup. But now that you're in a race, this is a race now. If you think Boston is just going to lay down, considering the type of baseball they're playing, going into the deadline, you don't think they're going to get any better? This is not the time to try Ben Rice at third base. That's why I just think Ben Rice is a good player who should play. However, I want Cody Bellinger back. I want Spencer Jones to be up on this big league roster at the nearest time, right? Jason Dominguez, I want him playing every day. I want to trade Trent Grisham because I think he's a good enough player to net me something in my bullpen. All of these things I want to happen. But man, if all of it happens, Ben Rice doesn't fit anywhere. He just doesn't fit. He's a good player that doesn't fit the roster. And if you let Cody Bellinger go, then suddenly he fits like a glove, of course, right? He's the cheaper option. If they want to go that route, they can. But if they want to bring back some key contributors from 2025 into next year, then I just don't know where this guy fits.
Yeah, it's frustrating because, I understand, but, my thoughts. I think that they totally dropped the ball on him. I think they should have tried him at third. We said that. What I didn't like is how, there were some fans out there that were like, oh, that's ridiculous. How is it ridiculous? You see these numbers, right? You see all the red. Sue me for trying to get this guy in the lineup some way, somehow, okay? Unfortunately, he's blocked by Stanton. He's blocked when Wells is hitting well now, right? So I think what they're going to do is they're going to trade Escara, and he's going to be the backup catcher. That's what I think is going to happen.
Believe it or not, I think Ben Rice is a candidate to be traded.
He absolutely could be, just because I think that they're kind of ruining him. This guy has 14 home runs at the break in 264 at bats. He doesn't even really get a lot of he doesn't really get a lot of opportunities, and yet he still has a 792 OPS. I don't like the way they handled this at all. I don't like that they weren't open to getting creative with him. But then at the same time, I had to see JC Escara at third 3 times this year. I just don't like it, and so for that reason, I think that they've totally missed the boat on this, and I think they're probably going to end up messing it up. And he could end up being traded for Suarez. Who knows? I personally, I think maybe Ben Rice is better off being on another team because I absolutely hate the way they used him. And I think there's an easy way to get him in the lineup. He splits time with Wells at catcher, and the days that you give Stanton a day off, don't give Judge a day off. Have him play DH. because he needs to be in the lineup. Otherwise, he's just going to run out of steam. And again, I told you, he keeps himself ready. He's hitting well in July, albeit not a lot of opportunities. But I just feel like they're really just taking for granted a player that has shown some crazy offensive, explosive potential, and that bothers me.
You know what, though? Here in Brian Cashman's defense, and I'm not going to tell you I hate going in his defense. I always feel like I'm going to be fair, and that's my main goal on this podcast. If you look at Ben Rice, who is he? He's a guy who's proven he can hit big league pitching. And if he's given more opportunity, he's probably going to play better baseball. I think the Yankees could agree with that. They call it a good problem to have. He doesn't have anywhere to play, right? You called him blocked, all these things. Well, the team that trades for him, he won't be blocked on said organization. Whatever team trades for him, he shouldn't be blocked, right? That's the reason you're trading for him. Well, this is also another way to acquire players, and it could be Gallen, it could be Suarez, as you mentioned. If you trade a player who's a big leaguer, who's from your big league roster, who just doesn't fit the roster and what they need, which is a third baseman and relievers, well, you can trade a Rice and preserve what you're calling, and Jake, you're saying it, they're saying it, is an improved farm system. Well, you don't have to go as deep into your farm system if Ben Rice comes.
That is true.
If Ben Rice is on his way out the door to an Arizona, well, Arizona now knows we've got control of a really good player, and he fits our organization. He fits where in terms of where he's going to play. Yeah, we've got a spot for him. Maybe the Yankees don't, but we do. So if you don't want to trade a LaGrange, you don't want to trade some of these guys, then don't. You're going to have to throw someone off the big league roster. That could be Ben Rice. Now, maybe he's not traded, right? This is just us spitballing and thinking how Brian Cashman may go about this. I think I'm going to just say right now, I think Ben Rice is traded in a couple of weeks. I don't think the big-time prospects, the Spencer Jones, right, the George Lombard Jr., I don't think any of those guys are touched at all. And I think he goes somebody off this big league roster, and that's going to be the decision, the big choice that he makes. And he hasn't done that over the years. He just hasn't. But I think given the way they're going about using Ben Rice right now, I think this might be the best course of action only, Jake, only if it is happening before an aggressive, efficient offseason. So you're talking about you need to be guaranteeing us Cody Bellinger is back, right? You need to be guaranteeing us. So now Spencer Jones, you've been hyping up this prospect. He's been putting up the numbers. He better be breaking camp or be close to it in 2026. All of these things need to happen. So yeah, there'll be people who say, and I see it in the comments already, don't trade Rice for a rental. Nobody wants to trade anybody for a rental. But you know what? You got to trade something of value to bring in talent to help you win now. And it worked for us last year. I know people say it didn't because Juan Soto left. No, it did. We went to the World Series. So we need to do something to get back there. Jake, by the way, anything you want them to throw in the comment section? Because I know we gave them a Joe Rogan length podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Before the break.
You're not kidding. Holy
yeah,
hell.
2 hours and 32 minutes. If you're still in here listening to us, please don't leave here without subscribing. That would be a real shame. We greatly appreciate you guys. I mean, obviously, you guys are the ones who make this fun. I mean, we're not just talking to ourselves. Because if this podcast didn't exist, it would just be Jake and I texting each other, talking about Ben Rice at 1 o'clock in the morning. So we greatly appreciate it.
We'd be playing video games and talking over the mic about
We would be playing video games, let's be honest. What do you want them to drop in the comments?
Yeah, so I think we'll go back to the 5 list. Real quick, by the way, someone asked Ben Rice's service time. So technically, including this year, it'd be 6 years of control. So agree. So Rocky Sullivan, with his conclusion here, says, agreed, Steve. And again, we're all on the same page here. We better get a really good player back at a position of need, like a relief pitcher who hits triple digits. So if I'm trading, say, a Ben Rice and I get a Duran, now it's not just going to be Ben Rice in that trade, but if I can bring in a Duran and give up that, I'm doing that any day of the week. That as my headliner would be a good trade in my opinion. Yeah. I mean,
Steve, we appreciate it.
I think I'm not like against your idea. I just don't like the idea of trading Ben Rice. I hate to be this way, but Ben Rice is going to be 32, 33 when he is a free agent. So this isn't like a long-term like it is, but it isn't. He's already 26. I'll keep him, and then when he hits free agency, I'll let him go. That type of guy. You know what I mean? But keep in mind, Gary, we're in 2025. That's until 2031 I have to worry about that, right? So I just see him as, you saw it, it was 2 days ago against the Cubs. You saw the potential at first base. I really think he could be a great first baseman.
He definitely can be a great first baseman, but there's certainly still some type of risk that he's not good 5 years from now. Like 5 years from now, there's definitely potential that Ben Rice is just not like what we're projecting his ceiling to be. There's certainly an idea that could be the case. Now, I don't want to look up and say we don't have a third baseman after this deadline and we don't have multiple relievers walking through the door because we wanted to hang on to something that could help us in 2030, 2029, 2028. All of those things have value. They do. But that's what makes them valuable enough to acquire what's coming through the door. That's why earlier when someone said, what about trading this player for Javi Baez? The problem is you got Javi Baez, right? So that conclusion there, the player who comes through better throw triple digits. The player who comes through the door, if you're going to trade a Ben Rice, who we both believe in, he better be a major thorn in the side of opponents when we walk into October. If we walk into October baseball and the guy who you traded Ben Rice for isn't a key contributor, you failed on that trade. So that's essentially all I ask. If you trade any one of these players that I really think could be a good player, that Jake thinks could be a good player, make sure we love the pickup. Don't just trade players just because they don't fit.
Mark my words, this is Ben Rice. He is going to be Ryan O'Hearn with more power. That is what I think he's going to be. And I don't know if I trade away that type of player with 6 years ago. Ryan O'Hearn's 31. I don't know if I trade away that type of player who can have in the 800 OPS and I trade him away for a rental or just a bullpen arm. I think I'd rather give up the prospect.
Yeah, that's certainly a take that you can have. But you also have to remember, if Duran becomes available, they say, well, you're getting Duran. Let's keep in mind who you're getting, right?
Yeah.
This could be your best. He's the best guy in your bullpen all of a sudden. He's the guy you want to toss the ball to. Okay, well, what are you willing to pay for that? And they say, well, I'm willing to give you Cunningham, this and this. And they might say, no, but we want one of those three that you listed. One, as you put it, you had 5 guys listed there. Maybe they want one of them. Now, all of a sudden, you have to be comfortable doing that. And Brian Cashman, over the years, hasn't shown comfortability trading those guys that they have on their short list. So if I had to make a guess, I would assume Brian Cashman, just seeing what he would be comfortable with, I would assume he's more comfortable getting rid of someone off his big league roster who maybe have an overlapping at positions than he would be giving up some of those top prospects, because those prospects are very valuable if they work out, which obviously Brian knows. So, yeah.
Well, that is going to do it. I don't know if this is the longest one, but it's definitely up there.
It's close. What are we having him drop in the comments, by the way?
Your top 5 Yankees don't touch them list unless, you trade away prospects for like a Juan Soto type of player.
Jose Ramirez. Let's just manifest it. We're going to get him when he's 38.
Oh my God.
Right?
Probably. But yeah, give us your top 5 prospects in the comment section in the Yankees farm that you do not want to trade unless it's for the cream crop type of guy. So that is what we have there. Be sure to like the video, because if YouTube sees that you watched for 2 hours and 38 minutes, but you didn't like the video, they're going to assume that you hate us and actually want it just to end us. So I don't know why, but they do. Even though our average view duration, which is absurd, 22 minutes. That's just insane.
Yeah, we have a great audience. I went through an entire bottle of water through this podcast, so that's when I know it's time to go to bed. But we greatly appreciate you. Please leave in your top 5 prospects in order. Now, mind you, no one should be untouchable, but give us those top 5 guys that you put them in order of which ones you want to see and what they can do with their future. Of course, make sure you subscribe, get involved in our Yankees giveaway. We're giving away a jersey of your choice, highest quality possible out of the MLB store. And make sure, of course, that you like this video.